Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Oh, nobody's here yet. I'm saying hello. Nobody's here yet. But if somebody did a replay, they would see me saying hello, welcome. Because if I did a replay, that's what somebody would say. Welcome. Oh, somebody's here. Hold on. I checked the chat on my iPad. Hold on. Who's here? Oh, no one's here. That's StreamYard. Okay, no one's here yet. Oh, I guess it might take a while. I have been off YouTube for about 10 days, taking a break. Had family reunion and other family things to take care of. So that's one reason why I have not been on YouTube for about 10 days, and it might take a while, even though I did post something I did post an announcement on my community page and let some friends know, definitely let some friends know. So we should be seeing people here in just a few minutes. For those watching the replay, I apologize because there's no one in the chat. And I guess we're going to have to wait a little bit. So today's show is brought to you by the color pink, all different shades of pink. Oh, we finally have our first person in the chat room, Ian. Welcome, Ian. First person here. Yeah, see, most people aren't used to coming here now because I took 10 days off, and now people are going to be slow coming in. But I'm going to put the invite up here. I'm going to put the invite link. And I was wondering if have you at Art Bar started, I guess you guys started using StreamYard, or did you start using something else since since Hangouts has ended? So hold on. And that's your link to grab for coming up here, Ian. I invited some artist friends, and I don't know who's showing up. I know one of them is not showing up, but another one of them, I think you and another artist friend are going to be showing up today to be on the panel. She actually might be live doing something, like actually creating something while she's talking on the panel. Oh, who is it? Is that Mystic Unigon? Somebody else came up on the panel. Oh, yeah, Mystic Unigon, welcome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me back. Yes, I took about 9 days off of YouTube. Oh, let me read the chat. Hold on. I had a family reunion that was out of state and other family matters to take care of. Oh, yeah, don't forget that like. Thanks, Mystic. And Ian is waiting in the waiting room. Awesome. Oh, hi, Ian.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. And sometimes I can't. No, on my laptop, I think I always can hear people. Oops. Did Ian dropped out? Oh, are you guys having torrential rains? Because my friend in Scotland said they're having torrential rains there. Uh-oh. Let's say, oh, hold on. And then it says, device not connected. Oh, Ian, it says your device not connected. Your guest will need to connect. Oh, now he is. Hi, welcome, Ian.
Hello.
Are you having rain?
We've had torrential rain this afternoon, but some of England and parts of the UK have had a major power cut.
Yeah, same. My friend in Scotland.
the national grid's gone down for some strange reason. So we're
Really?
we're
The
still here,
UK,
okay.
the
But
UK grid, the whole UK grid?
parts of it have large areas of the
Why do
national
you say for
electrical
some
grid.
strange reason? Why do you say for a strange? Because you.
Well, because we're still up and it hasn't affected us.
Oh, but parts
And
of it have.
yet areas not too far away from us have. So it's just affected certain areas,
Oh.
which is weird.
Oh,
If a grid system, it either just affects somewhere local, and that's it, or it affects everything nationally. But this
right.
is just like segments. I don't know why.
Oh, somebody else. And oh, do you have your art journal out that you might be drawing while you talk?
I will be drawing while I'm talking today.
Awesome, awesome. I have another friend on, another artist friend, and she may be she's a professional cookie maker. She makes very creative cookies. She may either be doing that. Yes, she may either be doing that, or she makes jewelry, so she might be doing something online too. So yeah. And I have another UK friend right here, Nick Jones. He breeds budgie birds, which I have never heard of budgies before him. I guess you know what budgies are, right, Ian? Oh, can we still hear Ian? Oh boy. Okay, let me invite Nick on. Nick, you guys are having like a power problem there in UK?
No, I've been fine.
Oh, Ian, I was just talking to Ian and now I can't hear him. Oh, Ian, can you say something? Oh, he dropped off. I don't know what's going on, but I know parts of the UK has affected the whole grid, and power. There's power outages and all that.
Yeah.
My friend in Scotland, I invited her on, and she said she can't come on because of her power keeps going out off and on. And now Ian said he wasn't even having a problem. He's in the UK, but I don't know why something happened and he just dropped off. But hopefully he's going to be back because he's going to be drawing in his art journal sketchbook while he talks. How are you, Nick?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I've been gone for about 9 days off of YouTube because I had a family reunion and other family matters to take care of.
Oh, you've been out having drinking water and that, yeah?
Yeah, out of state family reunion.
Yeah.
Oh, let me check the chat. Hold on. Nice to see you on panel, Nick. Okay.
Yeah, no probs.
One Peaceful Mind Alicia's here. Welcome. Yeah, hello, girlfriend.
Hello, everyone in the chat.
And Alicia, anytime you want to come on here and just see, we had Ian. He'll probably come back. Ian was going to be drawing in his art journal sketchbook while he's talking. He had the camera aimed at his hands. If anytime you want to do that, have the camera aimed at your hands while you're making jewelry or your other crafting, paper crafting, that would be great because I'm expecting another friend up here and she's going to be doing some kind of artwork while she's talking. Alicia, if you ever want to do that, that would be awesome. Yeah, I'm doing good. I had to take about 9 or 10 days off because the out-of-state family reunion and then other family matters to take care of. Yeah, I'm glad to be back and glad to see you guys all. Today, this show is brought to you by the color pink. It's like Sesame Street. My friend just made my friend who's a professional cookie maker who might be coming on later. Her name is Pink Prozac. She's a professional cookie maker, and she just did a whole theme of Sesame Street cookies, whole Sesame Street cookies, and it made me think of today's show is brought to you by the color pink because I always have a color of the day, all different shades of pink. Oh, I'm a big color person. as an artist, I'm a colorist. I'm big time into color. Color is #1 in my art. And then after that, movement, probably. I love texture, but I don't incorporate that so much. Color is #1 in my artwork, and then movement.
Oh, I've been over on Bobby's channel.
Yeah. How about Pickerick? You ever go to Pickerick's channel?
I do now and again, but I'm not really into listening to music.
Oh no, that's his other channel. He has 2 channels. He has Pickerick 1 and Pickerick 2.
Oh.
Yes, he has Pickerick 1 and Pickerick 2. Pickerick 1, he covers all subjects and topics. He like has a morning and nighttime. A lot of times he has like a 2-hour morning stream, which that would be that would be like not too late for you. Like 7, he might start 7, 8, 9 in the morning. So that's a lot of times he has a 2-hour morning stream. And then his Pickerick 2 channel is just purely music. You got to check out. Yeah. Got to check out his Pickerick 1 channel.
I'll be back in a minute. I'll just go and have a look now.
Yeah, you got to subscribe to it. I'm checking the chat right now. And then Mystic was not feeling well, so. Oh, hi, Sherry Kay. Welcome. Oh, here's Pickerick 1. Pickerick 1. Oh, guess what? Rick, Nick. Oh, he just dropped out. Nick was just up here, and Nick didn't know that you had 2 channels. He thought you were only a music channel, and I just informed him, no, you have 2 channels, Pickerick 1 and Pickerick 2. He thought you were only just did music. So now I think maybe he dropped out. So they're actually in the UK, they're having major thunderstorms. Parts of the national grid have gone down. So our UK friends might be coming and going, because I just had one of my UK friends was going to be art, like drawing while he talked, so you could watch him draw, and he dropped out, and because of the weather. And then Nick is gone, and so the UK friends are having problems right now. I know, and my friend in Scotland couldn't even join us. She's an artist friend of mine, and she says she's having torrential downpours right now with her power going off and on, and then she could not join us. But today's show is brought to you by the color pink, which Sesame Street was on my mind because Pink Prozac is a professional cookie maker, and she just made a whole theme of Sesame Street cookies. And it just made me think of, I always do a color of the day, and today's show is brought to you by the color pink, all shades of pink. I don't think I've done color. I have not done pink yet in all my color and all my color themes. I had not done pink yet, I don't believe. And who is back? Ian's back. Yay, because he's going to draw in his art journal while he talks to us. Ian, what happened?
Oh, sorry. Me computer crashed. It keeps doing that every now and again for some strange reason.
But it's not because
I think it's something to do. I think it's something to do with my memory. It might be damaging my memory.
Oh, it's here. Oh, yes. So it's probably not because of the weather.
So I might need to get some more memory, replace that, and then that might end the problem, hopefully.
Awesome.
Right, so I'm just gonna. But then again, it's not cheap to get memory. So.
So I'm gonna have to welcome people. You could start. Oh yeah, what did you want to say, Ian?
No, I'm just gonna set myself back up and get everything all.
And yes, Ian is going to start. He's going to be drawing in his art journal sketchbook while he talks to us. And I have to. Let's see, Pickerick. Goodness, Pickerick 1. He has 2 channels. Oh yeah, and Oh, hi, Sylvia from France. Welcome, Sylvia. And I had invited, and Sylvia, did you want to come up here and do artwork on the panel, like while you're talking? Oh, I had already messaged you about that. Oh, thanks, Sylvia. Yeah, today's show is brought to you by the color pink, which is so funny because my friend Pink Prozac, who might be joining us, she's a professional cookie maker, and she just did a whole theme of cookies based on Sesame Street for a client. It was a client that wanted her to do Sesame Street cookies, and it made me think of, oh, today's show is brought to you by the color pink, all different shades of pink.
This person who commissioned these cookies were he
Yeah.
blue?
Uh,
Were furry and blue?
is what?
The person who commissioned the cookies
Yeah,
from Sesame Street,
right.
were he furry and blue?
I don't know. You're gonna have to ask her. He's from the I'm pretty sure he's from the United States, but
I
she
think I
might
know who it is.
ship international. You have to ask her when she gets here. She hasn't gotten here yet. She made it sound like she is gonna get here. Let me check out in the chat. Oh,
Right.
Pickerick too. He loves pink. And One Peaceful Mind, Alicia. After the live, I will check it out. Rick, I really didn't. Oh, she didn't know. Oh, yes. A lot of people. No, Sylvia cannot come on today. She's not feeling well. Sylvia, I hope you feel well soon. Sorry you're not feeling well. And again, thank you for joining us, Sylvia, even though you're not feeling well. And Ian dropped out again from the UK. He's saying, see, they're having massive torrential downpours in parts of the UK. And Ian did tell me it's affecting parts of their national grid, but he said he's not been affected. When he drops out, he thinks it's because he has computer memory problems. I have a friend an artist friend from Scotland who I invited to join on the panel, and she could create artwork while she was. I invited her to create artwork while she is on the panel, but she said she cannot join. She cannot join, and because she's having her power going off and on because of torrential downpours in the UK. It's affecting different parts of the UK. So far, Nick was here and he dropped out. And that may or may not be because of weather problems. Let's check the chat. And I'm expecting Pink Prozac here. I invited her on the panel to be creating something because she creates jewelry, leather working, and she's a professional cookie maker. So I'm expecting her. I hope I'm expecting her. She made it sound like she definitely could be here. And she would be creating on the panel while talking. And Pickerick has 2 channels. Right now he's showing us his music channel. That's Pickerick 2. Pickerick 2 is strictly music request channel. At nighttime, he does music requests. You can request any kinds of like classical rock and actually classical rock is his favorite, but he will take other requests and it's several times a week. It's not every night. So right now, Pickerick 2 is showing us his music channel. If you subscribe to that, that's his music channel. And then he has Pickerick 1, which is just his general channel, and he covers all topics on that channel. So, all right, I'm going to put the link in since my artist friends can't. Ian, who was from the UK, he's one of my artist friends. He was going to be drawing in his art journal sketchbook while I was talking, but for some reason he's having a problem with his computer. So let me put now I'm inviting anybody up on the chat. And there's the link. I'm inviting anybody up on the chat. Nice to see everybody here. Sorry, when my head is behind the iPad, I'm reading the chat. That's how I read the chat instead of reading it like right here. I can read it right there, but because of my vision disability, I read it off my iPad. So let's see. Today's show, it's so funny because I don't know how many times I've repeated this, but new people might have come in the room. Oh, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up. Thank you. I do have a record of 50 thumbs up to beat, which I got about 2 weeks ago on a Sunday. 2 weeks ago on a Sunday. If you forgot, if you came in, please hit the thumbs up. Yeah, thank you. I like to create goals for myself, and now my goal is reaching more than 50 thumbs up if possible. Buddy's here. Buddy going RVing. Thumbs up. Yay. Hi, Buddy. How are you? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alicia. You gave me gave thumbs up already. Oh, I'm feeling really down. Oh, was a tough and chaotic day for me. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sylvia. Sylvia, I hope you're going to feel better soon. Tomorrow going to be a better day, I hope. Thanks, Pickerick. Yeah, thumbs up the live stream. Thank you. Oh, hi, Christy. So nice to see you. I saw you last night on another live stream. Well, I'm sure it was Pickerick's live stream. Yeah. Christy, so nice that you joined my live stream. Thank you so much. Yeah, lots of prayers for Sylvia. Sylvia, my friend Sylvia from France. Lots of prayers for her. I don't know. She had a really bad day, and she's not feeling well. And oh, we have somebody in the waiting room. Let's see who it is. Oh, it's Ian again, my UK friend, my UK artist friend who's going to draw in his sketchbook journal. Oh, hi, Ian.
Hello again.
Oh, goodness. Wait, has Art Bar started using StreamYard, or are they using something else now?
No, Danina just uses goes direct to YouTube.
Oh, she can't. She doesn't need to bring people up on a panel, right?
No, she don't do Hangouts. She does.
Oh,
she just does direct to. I mean, I've got to say, I don't particularly do that many Hangouts, really.
I do. I like doing them. So StreamYard works good for me, and it's free right now. Yeah. Basic plan is free.
Right, I'm just going to see whether it'll let me. Because it seems to be crashing every time I do anything on it.
Oh, wow.
It's not the program. It's my computer's not happy about being on internet doing what it's doing.
Yeah, that's a shame. Okay. I hope Ian can stay with us, because he's going to start drawing in his he's an excellent realist artist. Awesome. And he's going to start drawing in his art journal sketchbook if his computer doesn't keep crashing.
We hope. Let me just see if that's right. So no, that's there. Yeah, no, that's there.
Thanks everybody for being here. So nice to see everybody after my time away. Oh yes, I did put the link in for anybody else that wanted to come up. Let me try again. I'm inviting other people up. Since a lot of my artist friends couldn't be here. 2 other artist friends couldn't be here, but there's another artist friend that might join us. I'm waiting to see if she will join us.
I'm not going to put up the YouTube chat or anything, so I won't know if anybody's chatting to me.
Okay, yeah, right.
Just in case it crashes it.
Yeah, I'll let you know if somebody's saying anything in the chat. I'm keeping track of the chat, and I can read it to you. I mean, if somebody mentions you.
All right then. Right. Well, I'll just show you something that I've done over the last day or so. You might have seen it, you might not have, I don't know.
Oh, let me see. Everybody check out his artwork. Oh, man. It's something in nature. Is that an animal?
It is. It's a deer.
Oh, and are you still in that 30-day challenge?
No. Yeah, we are doing the 30-day challenge, but this is not a 30-day challenge, as that's not like 3 inches. It's a fairly large picture, that.
Oh, that's a deer looking up, right?
It is, yeah. It's trying to nibble at. It's trying to nibble these leaves above it.
Oh, that's a really nice. That's a really unique perspective, like that.
It's nice, ain't it?
All watercolor, right?
All in watercolor, that one.
Yes, yeah. Ian is basically he's an expert watercolor painter.
Oh, I won't call myself an expert.
Yes,
in
you are.
I've got a bit of experience in it.
Oh my God, you should have been at, I'm sorry, Ian, you should have been at Dina's live stream today where she was talking about getting into art gallery.
I missed that. I'm gonna have to watch back.
You better watch the replay. Because I was asking you, aren't you in any art galleries? And you said, no, the art galleries around here are too pompous. And she said she's heard that many times. And she said, okay, if you can't do local, then you got to drive 25 miles out, 50 miles out. And
I've got an art gallery. It's called YouTube and Facebook.
Oh no.
I get more people to see my images on there.
They have not served you well.
Hey, well, I get more people to see that, and on that, and I get more exposure on YouTube and things, social media like Facebook, than I ever have done from selling any images to art galleries. And it's an awful lot of running around chasing after things for getting yourself established in an art gallery. Well,
a lot of it though, you can stay at home because a lot of it is done by the internet now.
Yeah.
There are some art galleries that they don't even care about meeting you. They just want to see your images and how your images look online, because that's how they're going to be showing them to a lot of people, is online. That's what Dina said that today.
What actually annoys me about art galleries is they are a third party and they want to cut.
I know, but they market you. I was saying that too, but, Dina's in 6 art galleries around the country.
That's okay if they're successful at selling your art. If they're not,
okay.
It's a big waste of time, isn't it? It's no better than what you can do yourself.
Well, it depends. Like once you get into one art gallery, she says it's a lot easier to get into other art galleries.
That's it. Well, because other art galleries don't want to miss out on a piece of the action. If you're popular, art galleries will seek you out.
And there's licensing.
Yeah.
She's going to talk about that in a separate video where they will come and where your piece is going to be used like and printed over and over and over on what, like, I don't know, like on like
all sorts of things,
like, you know, like the kind of paintings you get in Walmart and stuff. That was an original painting by some artist, and that artist licensed that painting to be put in Walmart, and you get and then that's easy money, because after that all you collect is royalty fees.
Yeah, that's okay if it's popular. If it's a popular piece, then you might make money. It's called trickle feeding. And it drip little bits of money like that from, if it's a popular piece.
Right. But some of you do very realistic watercolors, and I don't see any problem how those couldn't be licensed.
I personally prefer to just sell individual one-offs to private clients.
Right.
And unusually, more often than not, I do actually like doing commission pieces for the right customer, because I have to check the customer out before I do commission pieces.
Yeah, you're right. Because could be a real pain in the butt,
they can be incredibly annoying.
Right.
And I've had to, halfway through jobs, say, I'm sorry, I can't do any more for you, sorry, bye. So, and you've got to be brutal like that sometimes, strangely enough.
Right.
So, because you can have some clients who will have you running around in circles. Can you do it like this? And can you do it like that? Can you?
No, but listen. Adina was talking about that. Not today. She didn't talk about it today. But she has talked about, she's done quite a bit of commission work, and she gets them through her art galleries. And what happens is, this one couple, they saw a little tiny painting that she had done that only cost like $350, and it's a small little, that's like the lowest, that's like the low end of her price range is right there, like 350, something like that. And she goes all the way up to $24,000 for her big paintings. But anyway, so a couple saw one of her flower paintings that was only, and they said, we'd like to commission her to make a bigger painting. So it was like they commissioned her to do a bigger painting, kind of similar to that, but each step of the way, she checks out like, okay, now I've done the preliminary drawing. Is this okay? And they have to they have to sign off like, yes, this is okay. Now, what colors do you like? Are you wanting? And then they have to sign off. Is this okay? Like that. And they can't go back on what they've signed off on. So
exactly. It's like a contract, and that is pretty, in commercial art, that is pretty standard arrangement. Because once you've met, thing is, it's not like very many other things. Once you've made a decision on how something is going to be, it's incredibly difficult to go back with what you're doing and do something else.
Once they've signed off on something, see that eliminates them saying, no, being wishy-washy. No, I didn't want that color. I didn't want those colors. No, they've signed off on this colors, those colors. They've signed off on this, and then they can't go back.
I'm not saying every commission you'll ever get will be stressful from that viewpoint, but you can get the odd one or two that can spoil it for you, and they're the ones that you have to learn to avoid.
Right.
Otherwise, commissioned work is really nice. Because it's individual, it means something personal to that person.
Oh yeah, I like that. Right.
And if you get it right, it'll be a treasured thing for them for the rest of their lives.
Right.
So, and there's a joy from that, isn't there? Plus, you can make quite a bit of money from it.
Yeah,
especially if you're doing.
You charge more for custom pieces. You definitely, Dina said, you charge more for custom pieces.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're doing something by spec for anything, for anybody, whatever it is, if you're making something by spec, then it's always easily double what you would pay for a normal box standard version of something. Easily double. So, and on top of that, it may cost even more to produce anyway, as a specific thing. You know, so, if I generally paint an A3 size painting, which is what this board is that I'm doing now, and they want me to do.
Did you say you're working on a body of work right now?
No, I'm just saying, if I were to like do a piece of work on this standard piece of paper that I work on normally, right, this A3 size pad, it would be a certain amount of money. But if somebody came to me and said, oh, we want it double that size, then obviously you've got to start thinking about it being double the price, because it's a much larger, much more complex set of circumstances producing a larger piece of work.
Oh yeah, well, did you miss her video about pricing artwork? There's all different. There's
No, I
like
watched that. Unfortunately, she got cut off during a week when YouTube were going a bit crazy, and it crashed all the time, didn't it?
No, but I think her video is still up. Her video is still up about it.
Oh yeah, I watched it, but she had to cut it. She was meaning to bring it all as one video, but it became so it was going on and off and on and off that she did. In fact, video cut out. There were only a sound on it.
That I thought she covered. I thought she was able to cover all the basic things she needed to cover about.
Yeah, she did, but she lost the video, and then at a certain point she says, well, I'm going to leave it at that, but we were going to look at some other things. And that's why this week she were going to do some other things, but I missed it because I'm busy packing away for not my holiday, for Mrs. Jackson's holiday.
Where she's coming to Canada?
No, she's been to Canada to see her sister. Now she's going over to the Philippines to see her dad.
Oh, hi, Chris. Oh, we have Chrissy Canvas Art. Chrissy Canvas Art. Me and Ian are talking. Ian Jackson. Yeah, we're talking about. Oh God, we're talking about being in art galleries and what Dina's live stream was about today. And Dina Tollefson's art stream was about today. Any artists in the chat? Very good live stream about getting into art galleries. And then we were talking about commission work, about how commission work, you know, all the pitfalls, but how they can be avoided, like how Dina had told it. Like, no, Chrissy, I'm sorry. Chrissy has a lot. I think she has quite a bit of experience with commissioned work, don't you, Chrissy? I think she does quite a bit. Where but I liked how Dina says she signs off on different things, like the composition, and they have to sign off on that. The clients have to sign off on the composition, and they can't go back. They can't say, oh, no, that's not what we wanted. No, you can't change your mind. You signed off on it. Then the color scheme, and the clients sign off on that. And then all different steps of the way, they have to sign off so that they can't say, no, those weren't the colors we wanted. Those weren't no. It's all, no, you signed off on it. So that, that eliminates all that kind of, all those kind of issues that happen with commissioned work. And Chrissy probably has her own angle on it, because I think she does I know she does some commissioned work.
At the moment, I'm just lightly sketching in this, but once I'm happy with basic composition, I'll draw it in a bit harder so that you can all see it. But
yes, Ian's going to be drawing in his art journal while he talks.
I'm going to try to. Just remember, I'm a man. I can't multitask.
Okay. Oh, so you draw or you talk, not both, right?
Yeah. I weren't trained to talk. So you know, I've got to say, I'm not 100% sure what they call all these parts of the of an horse. The nostril, nose area,
Just make
round
you
there at the
make it all
moment.
black and white for now, right?
Eh?
You're doing a drawing of an. Did I hear you right? An ox.
An ox?
So right now
No,
it just can be all black and white, right?
a horse.
A horse. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It might end up looking like an ox. I've got to say, I've drawn horses all my life, and I still find them challenging.
Oh yeah, I can understand. They're very horses are super challenging. I would have to like be.
Mm.
I might as well just trace it. Are you kidding? I might as well just
Oh,
trace the horse.
while we've got Chrissy here, Chrissy was using the perfect tool the other day on one of her videos.
Yeah, she did a horse. I actually did a horse a while ago.
One of those projectors. I mean, not
Yeah,
normally.
I have one of those art projectors.
Normally, I'd only probably use one of those projectors if I were creating a really large, you know, a really big image. I probably draw it out by hand, put it under machine, and then project it up and then make it big. That's how I generally use one of those. But you can use them in all sorts of different ways. So, and they are very good. The one at earliest drawing help tools that were ever made. Those used to put them in like projection rooms and make them so that you could draw stuff. Do you know, I'm making the right pigs here of this.
Oh, I'm sorry. One of my friends who was in the chat, she wrote me a text, and I have to try to write her back. And it's just short. I'm almost done. People can watch. Yeah, people can enjoy watching Ian while he draws.
Don't follow this example because I'm already thinking I've got it wrong. Oh,
But you are drawing a horse?
I am, yeah. You can't really see it very well at the moment, but once I've got the bare bones in, I'll start carving it out a bit better and showing you what it's made up of.
Oh, here we go. Let me see another friend of mine. Wait. My friend, the professional cookie maker. She did Sesame Street cookies this week, and what's that little kitty? That cartoon of that little kitty, whatever, that little kitty thing.
I don't know.
Wait, let me see.
Lots of little cats, isn't there? Felix, Top Cat.
No, she's gonna have to tell us. I forget the name of that cat. Right? It's a little kitty. It's not Garfield. It's just I can't show
that little black and white cat.
Yeah, like a very minimalistic.
Not Katie the cat. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's called Little Kitty or something like. What is that?
Yeah, and it gets used a lot on
Yes,
kids
yes, and it's very
Tupperware and stuff like
minimalistic.
that. Yeah, I know which one you mean. But
Right,
yeah.
that so she did. Let me. I could show it. Like, hold on, I could show this. Can you see it?
Yeah, I know what
What's
you
that
mean.
called?
Yeah,
What's the name of that
quite.
kitty?
Yeah, it's quite popular, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a
that
bit
one. She made cookies of that. We're hoping, and then she made Sesame Street cookies. Wait, oh, that's not the funny one. Let's show the one that shows Cookie Monster. And she made Sesame
that's
Street
what I mean. You
cookies.
see, that's what is that what a client was?
Yeah,
Mr. C Monster. Mr. C
and that's
Monster.
why it made
would
me
like
think
some
like
cookies.
today's show is brought to you by the color pink. Everybody, today's show is brought to you by the color pink. I'm wearing all shades of pink today.
So I was a bit. I mean, Sesame Street didn't come along for me until very late in life.
Oh,
But,
really? Not as a child?
Yeah, we didn't really get it when we were kids. Sesame Street, not here anyway. It did later on. It did later on. It came along and it's on telly quite a bit. But it's okay because we had the adult version.
Oh, the adult version.
Yeah, Muppet Show. Yay! Do you not remember Muppet Show? Muppet Show. The Muppet Show.
The Muppets.
Yeah, the Muppet Show.
Muppets?
The Muppet Show, yeah.
Oh, the Muppet Show. The Muppet Show. So you watched a lot of the Muppets, right?
Yeah, we did. When we were kids,
okay.
it was
Oh, yeah. So that's good for kids and adults. Kids and adults enjoy the Muppets.
It was good family entertainment. Although Kermit the Frog did used to get beat up a lot.
Oh, so you're just doing the horse's head, but still.
Yeah, I'm just. My problem is with this arrangement is, I might need to like zoom out a bit. I'll see if I can get it to zoom out because you can't see anything that I'm doing.
I can see, but not everything. Not most of it. I can see. Pink is here. Oh, she said, "Be right back." Pink Prozac, the professional cookie maker. She said, "Be right back." Hi, Kathleen. Welcome, Kathleen. And I've forgotten and welcome, Pink.
Well, I'm hopefully you're now starting to see that I've got some kind of
and Buddy, I said hello to Buddy already. And
it's only going to be the upper part of it. So I mean, I only wanted to do the head anyway.
Chrissy's talking about the projector, and she said even Leonardo da Vinci and a lot of the masters used projectors. She said.
Yes, they did. It weren't called a projector.
No.
What they used, it was called what they call it. It was a special kind of camera that they used, but it's similar process. But it's been around for thousands of years. Projection.
Really?
All you need is a piece of glass, and you put it at an angle, and it will project the image onto a surface.
That's right. That's what they did.
There's
Hello Kitty. That's what it's called. Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty. All right, yeah. There's a tool that you can get called a Lucida, and that's what that's where it comes from.
What's it called?
A Lucida.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
And basically all it does is it takes the surrounding light and it's got a prism and it shines that light from the surface, whatever the image is on the surface, it picks that up and then it projects it in the opposite direction.
Right. Chrissy said they use lenses and sunlight.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lucider is.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's been around for thousands of years, that idea. Do you know that they use lenses for creating lasers for
Oh, for
in war for thousands of years ago?
Oh, okay.
To set fire to boats.
Oh,
They literally
they could do
they used
that?
to get, yeah, in hot places when sunbeams down, they got a great big lens, and they just directed the lens in the direction of the boat, and the beam of light is so intense that it can set
Oh
things
my
on fire.
goodness! They could start a
Because,
fire on the boat.
yeah, because boats were made of wood, and that's how
Oh
they used
yeah.
to set fire to
Uh-huh.
boats. And that's how strong lasers are, how strong lens-based lasers are. When I were a kid, I used to go in garden burning things with what they call it, with magnifying glasses, and just burning bits of wood. And you leave it for a short while in one position in a focused beam, and it sets a fire off.
Only in the daylight, though. So if somebody's trying to set a fire
yeah.
at night, they got to do it a whole different way.
Oh no, I mean you can't, because you need light to actually do it, obviously. But there you go. You can do all sorts of things with stuff like that. There were a really good program on the TV not too long ago about light and colour and the various scientific things you can do to create light.
I think Chrissy's saying she lives near you, or she did live near you.
My normal place of living is in Skipton, which is maybe 40 miles away from where Chrissy lives. But I'm down at me. My dad's looking after my dad at the moment because he's not 100%. He's an elderly guy. So I'm a bit far away. I'm about 80, 90 miles.
You're away from home right now?
Yeah, I am, yeah. That's why I've only got limited tools. That's why I'm doing watercolors mostly. Because all my tools.
Watercolors anyway.
Well,
they're so easy to travel with.
That was my idea. I thought I'm going to be down here for a while, at least a year, maybe 2 years. Who knows? I might end up being down here permanent. Who knows? But
and you're gonna and your wife is gonna visit you?
No, I mean my wife is getting to the stage where she's probably not going to be working up there soon, so that we might end up like moving her down here. It's really expensive. It's really expensive living up in Skipton. It's very.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. And
where? Where you used to live?
Where are you? Put it this way: where I live now is half the price.
But where your father lives is not so expensive?
No, it's quite cheap to live in the area where I am at the moment. But my wife is a nurse who's
right,
and she's got a very responsible job at a local hospital. And but we'll have to wait. Well, it's all private things and what have you, but we'll have to see. But meanwhile, I'm down here making sure my dad's okay.
All right. Thanks, Pickerick. Thanks, Pickerick, for reminding people. Thumbs up to live. Yeah, I'm trying to beat a record. Got 50 thumbs up like about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sunday. Oh yeah, 50. Wow. 50. I got 50 thumbs up. 50 thumbs up. Yes, on a
I think once you pass by 100 thumbs up, they actually start featuring you a lot more.
That's it. Once you get 100 or more, then
if you really, if you really want to help and support people on YouTube, make sure you give them a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Is it a thumbs? Yeah, a thumbs up. Yeah, because once you reach that magical number of 100, you tend to get featured, and then once you get featured, you'll find that anyone that gets featured, any video that gets featured, starts getting a lot more views.
Yeah.
I've got 1 or 2 videos that have been featured, and they're like 12 and 13,000 views.
Oh my goodness, that's great. My most popular video came out 3 years ago, and that has 5,000 views.
Yeah.
5,500 or something.
In saying that, it were one that were it weren't an art video. It were a video on how to use GIMP.
Oh, how to use GIMP.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have a 4-part series for beginners, how to use Procreate, and that's one of my higher performing videos. That has hundreds of views, but it's not my highest. It's not in the thousands. It's in the hundreds, in the high hundred. It's in the hundreds. Oh no, it might be in the thousands. I forget, because my highest performing video has 5,000 something, so that could be 1,000 something. Yeah. Tutorials like that they're things
they do tend to do quite well, digital imaging tutorials, because it kind of like appeals to traditional artists and people who are into digital art as well, and people who are wanting to learn how to use that particular tool. So it's good for a lot of things.
And then my other high performing videos that are from 2 to 3 years ago are a lot of my beginner acrylic tutorials, paintings.
Right.
Those are some of my high performing videos also.
I mean, what I mainly do video wise is watercolor painting tutorials, and that is a really aggressive marketing within the art environment.
I would think so. A lot of people want to learn watercolor, but you have to keep it but I'm wondering if the beginners market may be more popular.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so many really, really good watercolor artists on.
Well, same thing for acrylic.
I
got several hundred views. Same thing for acrylic. Same thing for all of them.
People can only watch so many videos.
I know.
So we shouldn't expect them to. When I go on YouTube to watch a particular video on how to do something, I don't think, oh, I'm going to go to so and so's video because I like them. I go to the video that I know is going to give me the information I need. That's really what they're there for. And fair enough, some people are much more entertaining than other people, but at the end of the day, there's a time for entertainment and there's time for learning, isn't there? And
I really try my iPad. My beginners, it takes you from being a total beginner, and it's a 4-part series. Total beginner, how to use Procreate. Well, you use GIMP and I use Procreate. And I'm total beginner. Take a total beginner and how to make a painting, and it's a 4-part video. And I'm not 4-part video, 4-part series, and well, that's one of my more high performing videos. So I might make some more like that.
Well, thing is, at the end of the day, you make a video and you think, oh, that's the formula. You try it again with another video, and it bombs. So I don't know.
And then my highest performing video, I would never have predicted that would be first of all, the quality of the video is not great. The music is very, the music, the background music, and I don't even talk in the video. I don't think I talk in the video. And the music is very calming and relaxing and meditative kind of music. But the quality of the video is not that great. And I don't know why it's my highest performing video. A lot of people say that. They say their highest performing videos, they're not their best videos.
If it were down to, like, you know, how much love you put into your particular video, I've got videos that are 10 times better than one that is my highest performer.
Oh, Chrissy's leaving. Hi, Chrissy.
Are you getting off, Chrissy? Well, I'll see you later.
So, and then here's somebody in the chat says, sometimes content is better than quality. Content being better than quality.
Oh, it depends what you mean, content.
Right.
What does it mean, content?
Well,
everything, every video has content.
Information, how good the information is, like how much information is in the video.
Because I mean, you see a lot on YouTube, a lot of videos that are very highly polished and, you know, very professional, but they don't get down to the nitty-gritty of the point that they were supposed to be putting over until way too late into the video, and by that time you've lost it. You know, you think, oh, can you not get to the point? When I try to make a video, I try to cram as much as I possibly can into a video that's valid and relevant to what I'm doing, and then that makes the content better, rather than, I don't know, sometimes it's too much razzmatazz.
Razzmatazz?
Razzmatazz.
You don't put razzmatazz in your videos, do you?
I try not to.
What do you call razzmatazz? Fluff? Fluff?
I'm just gonna right, so I'm starting to render the this now, so I'm gonna get a base coat of black in background, because it's a fairly light horse, this one, so I want to contrast it against the dark background. So first things first, let's get a base coat.
I just want to say thank you, Kathleen, and sorry, Sylvia. YouTube is crazy that they don't want even to. I know YouTube is crazy. They don't want to hear the word subbing, and even subscribing. It's like, you know what? Why? I don't know why, because on the big red button it says subscribe, but so thank you, Kathleen, for doing that, and I'm sorry, Sylvia. We don't mean anything bad. We don't mean anything bad.
The thing is, you don't need to put it. Just go to that person's page. If you want to sub them, do it.
And then tell them there.
You will know whether they've subbed to you or not.
Yeah, at their page. Say, oh, a new friend here. I always say new, like on their page. I say new friend here. But in the chat, I might come back and say, oh, I joined your channel. You could say that. I joined your channel. Like, it's so stupid that YouTube has a problem with this, when on the big red button it says subscribe, but we're not supposed to use that word.
Yeah, but the thing is, people are using it. People are abusing it, though. They're saying, "Oh, we've subscribed." They're fishing for people, and they're saying, "Oh, we've subscribed to you," and all they're doing is spamming people. They aren't subscribed to people.
They abuse the word, and that's why we can't use it.
Well, all I've got to say to anybody who does that is, we know who subs to us. We can see in us as systems. We can go in and look and see whether you've done it or not. So don't lie about it. And I don't subscribe directly to people while I'm on a chat with them. I go back and I look to see whether they're telling porcupines or not.
Hi, Tim's World. Hi, Christopher. And Christopher Bako says, wow, that's beautiful, Ian.
Thank you. But I'm just starting to render it, really. I mean, we may not get it finished during this session. It may take a while.
Wait, are you going to turn that into watercolor or what?
I could do, but
no, you're not turning that. And now that I see that you're coloring the background, I don't think you're going to turn that into a watercolor.
But just because it's got graphite, tonal graphite on it, it don't mean to say that you can't put watercolor on it.
Okay.
You can do, but the only thing reason why I wouldn't do this as a watercolor is that the paper is completely inappropriate. Anything
a big mess on your hand.
This paper is only appropriate for dry media, and that's all I ever do.
Right. Not even mixed media paper.
No, I mean that's the very bare minimum I'd use, mixed media paper.
Right.
And the absolute, if I had no other paper whatsoever.
Oh, Christopher wants to know: will you color this, or is it going to be all black and white?
No, I'm just going to do a black and white photo. I did think about using these, if I can find them.
Or you thought about making it sepia or monochromatic?
I've got these.
Be black and white. I mean, sorry.
They're like gigantic big charcoals.
I think I have those too. No, maybe not those. No.
And they're all like brown natural tones, but
no, I do not have those.
I could use those, but I'm more thinking maybe a. Oops, there we go. Oh. I'm more thinking just a graphite drawing.
Oh, really. Okay. Just a graphite, Christopher.
Yeah. Keep it simple. I've spent all day painting. I'm at the latter stages of the day, and I've spent all day drawing, so I don't want to be doing anything overly taxing.
You spent all day drawing?
Well, doing artwork.
Oh, Kathleen says Ian makes it look easy.
It is if you practice.
Well, wait a minute.
I'm not doing anything.
Did you draw the horse's head out of your imagination, or what?
No, I've got a picture in front of me on my screen.
A reference. He has a reference photo.
And
he didn't draw it out of his imagination. He has a reference photo. You did not make a grid to do that, right?
No. I mean, you saw me. I just got a bit. I started with a line there and a line there to find out where me eye. I wanted to put my eye. I know that, like on human faces, horses have a fairly standard set arrangement, and I know that where that eye is, there is where this curves around, and it curves to about halfway like that. So I've got that there.
Are you have you spent your life? Have you spent time with horses that you know them?
No, I'm not horse phobic, but I don't like being around them because they're a bit unpredictable. So I tend, but I have drawn them all my life.
Oh, you love the way they look, but you don't want to really be near them or ride them.
I won't want to ride them. I've gone up and give them odd carrot now and again, but that's about as close as. To be frank, that's as close as I'd like to be near them because they're an extremely powerful animal.
I know, and some of them are crazy. I've seen them because I've been on trail rides. First of all, I used to take horseback riding lessons, and those horses were okay. But if you go on a trail ride and ride Western, and you on a trail ride, you never know if you're going to be on some crazy horse that's going to go wild and all of a sudden take off.
I mean, all horses, all animals, right, have got the potential of doing something out of the blue. Even humans do that. So even more so animals, and that animal, that horse, is 30, 40 times more powerful than what you are. And if it gets upset, it'll let you know. And sometimes they do. And to be honest with you, I'm one of them people who I don't like seeing animals being used by humans, even being ridden. I find that a bit not offensive, but I just think, well, come on, we've moved on from horse riding, haven't we? Surely we've got other things that can do the work of a horse now. I'd love to get some of these big fat people who ride horses all the time. I'd love to get a great big backpack, put it on my back, and then ride them all day and see how they feel about it. And then they might have a bit more.
Ride them all day, ride the human all day.
Yeah. Go right. How do you feel about that?
Much heavier than the human.
They are, but I've seen people on who put a large amount of weight on horses.
Oh, you mean like a really heavy person?
Yeah, well, not just an heavy person. I'm on about the backpacks and all the other stuff, and the carts that they have to, the carts that they pull and.
That.
Have you ever seen? Do you know what? I saw a picture not too long ago of a donkey, a small donkey. They're not much bigger than what we are, and it had a boatload of really heavy bricks that it were carrying from a brick site to this place. And poor animal, it looked as though it were on verge of dying. And I know some of them pictures are propaganda, but it's just, I don't know. I think, let's step into 21st century. We don't need to use horses or animals like that as beasts of burden. We just don't. Hope I'm not offending anybody. Just, there's better ways of doing things.
I don't think you're going to offend anyone. Other people just might have different opinions if anybody's like a horse owner, and rides horses. But so far,
if they're horse owners, then they need to know that animal's welfare is in their hands, didn't they? I mean, if you had a pet dog and you kicked it around the house and you made it do things that it don't normally do, you'd get arrested by police. Yet some animals get treated like garbage for no reason whatsoever. I don't know. I must be as I get older, I must be some sort of animal activist or something.
Okay, thanks, Christopher Baker. He was telling a story. I can't totally follow it. He saw a video about a horse and a pit bull. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand this. The horse was tied down? What? Mm-hmm. There's a video. There's a YouTube video. A pit bull attacked a horse, but the horse was tied down. That's horrible. So then the horse had no choice. He bit the dog and slammed him down and killed him. Well, yeah, he had perfect reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be frank, do you know what? This might sound radical, but I'd do exactly the same to owner a dog. I'd tie them down and let the horse trample on him. People like that don't deserve to have animals. And let's be even more radical. They don't deserve to live themselves because they're mentally ill. People who hurt animals like that are mentally ill. Honestly. Nutters. And they do it because they get a kick out of it. They think they're being clever. setting trained dogs on other animals because they're big and hard and clever. They're nothing of the sort. If they came up against another human being with a big weapon, they'd shut up. The bullies people. I absolutely hate people like that. Honestly, they're a disgrace to the human race. You can tell I'm one of them people who thinks that there's 8 billion people on this planet, and at least 4 billion of those are surplus to requirement.
I'm sorry. I have to. Go ahead, keep drawing because I just have to answer my friend who was in the chat, and then she had to instant message me, and I have to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to message her.
I know what it is. I'm in rant mode because it's football tomorrow, and I'm getting tense and nervous about it. Pre-match tension.
All right, never mind. Okay, I gotta all right. So I gotta send it to the chat. I can always get back to her again about that.
No, I can't see any of the chat anyway.
I know. I'm gonna let you know. That's a good.
Probably get. I'm probably getting a load of.
He's Christopher Bako is Are you talking to Christopher Bako? Is complimenting you as a guest. He says you're a great guy.
Oh, thank you, Christopher. I just wish in life that people have, like, you know, we're a guest on this planet, so
bye, Kathleen.
Let's look after.
I'm sorry. Bye, Kathleen.
Let's look after animals that are on this planet because they look after us.
Hi, Michael McReynolds. So nice to see you here. Welcome. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Click the thumbs up. It always helps out our video.
Click the thumbs up because that is the best thing you can do for any YouTuber.
The thumbs up. That's the best thing you can do for any YouTuber is to give us thumbs up because if we get 100 likes on a video, that's when it starts getting promoted.
So if you think that's controversial, what we've just been talking about, how about what they're doing with the like button on YouTube? There's some controversy as regards that now, isn't there?
What
in certain elements, the dislike button and the
they're thinking of doing away with the dislike button.
The like it. Well, I don't think it serves any purpose, to be honest with you, because it's just an opportunity for somebody who's malicious.
I know, and YouTube does not look on it disfavorably. They say it's still engagement, no matter what way. Thumbs down, thumbs up, it's still engagement.
I'd like engagement if somebody came to me and said, Ian, I don't like the way you draw this horse. I'd do it like this. Or I'm not keen on your particular style. How about doing it like that? That's engagement, not people putting the thumbs down. It doesn't tell you nothing.
Whatever. So I'm glad they're thinking of doing away with it.
Yeah, it's long overdue, to be honest with you. But if they could bring some system in where people can, there's one thing I'm not really keen on internet is other artists' inability to critique properly. You know, as a person who's been to university, how important critique is.
Yeah, say that again.
You know, as a person who's been to university.
I had to go through many critiques.
Yeah, and has it crushed you and destroyed you as an artist?
That what?
Has it crushed you and destroyed you as an artist?
Crushed you?
Crushed.
Critique has crushed me?
Has it crushed you? has it been detrimental to you as an artist?
Not all. Some critique is positive.
Yeah, well, most critique should be positive. It's just that
But
the way people.
I did have this one. Yeah.
Go on. So, all critique should be positive. It's just the way it's put over and how it's handled.
Right.
People put critique into in, and sometimes they don't know how to handle or do critique. They're just doing it because they're malice and they don't know what they're talking about.
Oh yeah, no, we had a professor. Usually we had a professor that it was in graduate school, and people kept remarking about how he has like he's mean when he gives a critique, and he happened to be the professor I had to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And our last words together, we had pretty good for 3 years I had to deal with him only in the summertime, but and then every January I had to deal with him for about 2 or 3 years. Not all through the year, but then in the final remarks that were said was was not very supportive. So
there's a difference between
I don't just go by what he says.
Supportive.
I don't just go by what he says. So what? There's going to be mean people just in the art world too. What about the art world? There's art critics in the art world.
For example, right? Somebody could critique this, what I'm doing now, and they could come to me and say, Ian, you've been drawing that like that for years, and it's not worked then, and it don't work now. Now I could react to that and go, yeah, you're right, I need to change. So even though it were a negative comment,
that's up to you to take the critique how you want.
It's how we take critique sometimes. Sometimes you need to kick up the backside with your art. All of us do. But there's a way of doing it.
No, there's a way of doing it and receiving it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd only receive critique from an artist if they're capable of taking that critique back with regards their opinion and their art. That's another thing. Does their art stand up to their critique?
Right.
Or experience.
Reasons. And yeah, in graduate school, people don't just say your art looks like crap. They don't say that.
I mean, that has no meaning whatsoever, does it?
30 other people, nobody says things like that. They say, but we had this one professor, he would say like stinging things that were like people were like stunned, and then like, and so what he should have done, because I learned like through art education, it's a sandwich. Think of a metaphor of a sandwich. You start off by saying something constructive and positive, and then in the middle you give like maybe a critique. What's a better word? Something that you think should be changed about it, or something that could be different about it, and then you end it with something positive. That's how you, and then that's the critique method that children should be taught, and that's how teachers should also talk to their children's artwork about, like that, and the sandwich.
I mean, when we're especially talking about children's critique, because they can be very easily crushed and stopped from doing art.
Oh no, I always give a lot of positive reinforcement.
As an adult, we can brush people's opinion off as an opinion, can't we? If your art teacher who you look up at as a kid and think, I want to be like him when I grow up, turns around and says, your art is the biggest pile of I've ever seen. Nobody does, but
they have. I'm sure they have. The people do that.
People do say things that hurt our feelings creatively, don't they? Whether they say it deliberately, or they say it as a joke, or they say it seriously but not meant to hurt. they still say things that we take sometimes as not being constructive. And especially when you're a young person, that is really critical. So you have to be incredibly careful how you critique, and when you're critiquing work for certain groups of people, you've got to think of what level are they at, how far have they got with their art, how old are they, what experience.
Yeah, and then what were the requirements of the assignment? That's where I come in. That's where I just say, oh, let's look up at the board. Let's see. Now, what was this now the assignment, like, and then you say, okay, so, and then you would refer back to the assignment of just the requirements of the assignment. And then I always would say, and then if you really think somebody did like a really good job, you're like, and a lot of times, sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes kids would say, you'd give them a good compliment and they begin, no, I don't think so. Like you give them a good compliment and they think, no. Like they're,
well, like, you give a lot of, the thing is that one of the best ways to critique is like, if you're wanting to direct a person in a way to improve them, you point to the masters and you go, look how that master did that kind of art. Look how successful he was at doing that. Well, maybe you should incorporate that skill, or maybe you should do it like that. And then you're not actually then like ripping a person's personal experience art, are you? You're guiding them towards people who did it right.
Yes. Or you guide them towards the requirements of the assignment, like that.
It all depends on, I mean, I know we're talking a bit about kids and what have you, but not everything that we do is an assignment. This is not an assignment-based piece of art, but I would imagine somebody could critique it and go, oh, well, that needs to be altered. Do you not think this is the right size? But a good critique looks in a positive manner towards art, not in a smash it down kind of my opinion kind. Because in some way, some people use it as a tool to make themselves the center of attention.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and that's something else you have to be very aware of.
Why have you? But you have never. Have you ever taken art classes at university?
Yeah, not at university.
No. Have you ever been in a critique?
Oh yeah, I've been critiqued a lot.
I mean, in a group critique, like we're in a group critique where everybody's there and everybody's getting their artwork critiqued by the.
I mean, it's not the college environment that I'm thinking. Actually, I think that's one of the better places where you learn critique.
That's one of the better places as opposed to an art critic.
One of the worst places is here online, when people are just spouting their opinion. So I've just seen something that I'm not happy with. I'm going to check that.
Or the other thing could be so crushing is that some in the art world, some art critic that has so much, like who's so famous who's very famous and renowned for, and then you get a crushing review by them.
I mean, if you are, I mean, to be honest with you, if one of the great art critics in the world came and looked at my art and critically acclaimed it, whether it was good or bad, I'd be laughing all the way to the bank, because at least he spent time looking at it.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I mean, but
at least he spent time writing on it. I'd be like, oh my God, at least you spent time writing an article on it.
What I'm more concerned about is people critiquing artwork from a viewpoint of naivety.
Oh, okay.
They come on and they think that they know what they're talking about. It's better to just keep your gob shut. And if you don't like it, don't like it. And that's where I'm talking about with regards this. I mean, I know we've gone into critique now and talking about critique, but we were talking about thumbs up. And part of that thumbs up attitude is that inability to critique things properly. They just think that my opinion counts for everything and no other idea counts at all.
Oh, Christopher says it's like when he plays guitar, and if he finds he's a better guitar player than somebody he's with, he doesn't like say you're an idiot. He just tries to help with respect. He just tries to help the person out.
That's it, exactly. That's the greatest thing that you can do with someone else who lacks experience in a particular skill. Help them and direct them in the right path if they're happy to do that. Absolutely.
Oh, somebody said and Christopher said he just wants to keep watching you draw. Are you gonna finish? Are you gonna work on the face?
I'm going to keep working on it, but I think there's maybe 4 or 5 hours work here on this. So I don't know whether
5 hours of work, Christopher. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could start. Can you start on the eye?
Yeah, I think that will make it a little bit weird. But what I'll do is I'll focus in on the eye and I'll work that eye area.
Well, so that's not how would you? So how would you continue on this?
I'd get a basic overall coverage on the body in a very light set of tones.
Yes.
And then I go into doing detail on there. The thing that they tell you to do is not work on one area too long.
All right.
If it's a bit, because you start getting a little bit micromanagement. Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Right. Then looks way too done. The best way to do a big picture is work at it as an whole.
Work it as a whole. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Do you like Albrecht Dürer? Christopher was mentioning Albrecht Dürer. Do you like Albrecht Dürer?
Albrecht Dürer was one of the great artists of all time. Yeah.
And he worked mostly in graphite, right?
He was one of the first people ever to do a watercolor painting.
A watercolor painting?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was known for his pencil drawings.
Albrecht Dürer were a multi-faceted artist. He did all sorts of things. But we are talking like 13th century. I think 1340, something like that, he was painting.
Something like that. But Crafting with Fury, this is my friend Ian Jackson, who's an artist, a YouTube artist, and
he's also
an artist friend, and that's who he is. He's an artist. He's an artist friend. He lives in the UK.
He's also got a really nice set of watercolor pencils named after him.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yes, he does. The Albrecht Dürer by Faber-Castell. They are very. I've got a few of them.
They're made by Faber-Castell.
Yeah, Faber-Castell's Albrecht Dürer pencils. I've got a few of them because none of my local art shops actually sell them what they call it as individual pencils, which is a bit sad. But you can buy sets of them, and they're a couple of £100, but they are very good. I've got 1 or 2 of them from shops when I've been able to find shops where they do individual pencils, but I very rarely come across stuff like that. Right then. Okay, so
hit the thumbs up. If you just came in, hit the thumbs up.
What I'm going to do? what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can zoom in on the eye, and we'll concentrate on the eye for a while.
Okay. And then Christopher wants to know, do you know Albrecht Dürer's piece in particular called The Night Devil and Death?
I probably might have seen it, but I can't remember it specifically.
Right.
But it were a prolific artist. I mean, I think he were in that period of time where they used things like egg tempera for painting. It were before
Egg tempera. They made it out of eggs, right?
Well, that's the binding agent, yeah. So basically, it's like all other paints, right? For those of you who don't know how paint's made, you have your colour that's made out, your pigment, which
And
makes
then
up
you
the colour.
binding agent, right?
And you have an agent in it, and in watercolor it's generally gum arabic. In oil painting, it's it's an oil, linseed oil, or whatever oil they use these days. In acrylic paint, it's a substance that's a plastic, which is pretty much like PVA glue, polyvinyl acetate.
Yeah.
And that's it. So what egg tempera were is pigment, just like normal, but they used the yellow of the egg as a binding agent. And those paintings are still around today, and they still look as vibrant as they did.
And they were tempera painting?
Egg tempera paintings, yeah. For some strange reason, the chemicals in eggs as a protective agent in it that helps it. I'm not very knowledgeable about egg tempera, but I've often wanted to have a go at it. It's one of them classic old skills.
Oh, you wanted to try it?
Yeah. You can actually buy pre-made egg tempera paint, but I don't get that.
One of the most ancient forms of painting is in wax and caustic.
Yes.
They found it in the tombs of the, what were the names of those tombs? I don't know.
In Egypt?
I think it was Egypt.
Well, I mean, you say Egypt, but
I'm not so sure it was Egypt, but and I can't remember the names. There was these portraits done with wax and caustic.
Right. I know in the Philippines there's some that go several thousand years back. A waxing caustic painting.
I have a lot of experience with wax caustic, but I can't work in it anymore because I don't have the space for it right now. So maybe in the future I could work in it again. But some of my best pieces have been done in oil and wax and caustic, are some of my best pieces. We have them hanging in the house. We're never going to sell them. And a lot of them are my wax and caustic pieces on wood.
On wood?
Oh, yeah, painted on wood.
That's a different. Well, I mean, normally when you get a wood.
Listen, you cannot paint wax and caustic on canvas unless it's canvas that's covered with wood. It has to be a rigid. It has to be a rigid substrate, or the wax will crack.
Yeah, well, that's exactly the same with egg tempera.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is very fragile. It cracks and breaks if you're not careful. So it has to be painted on a wood panel on a rigid substrate. Yeah. But it's really strange because when you normally prepare a rigid substrate like wood, you've got to be ever so careful because it's got wood. After a certain amount of time, as it's drying, it seeps out oil naturally. So it's a bit weird that they put wax onto wood, unless they're using it as a protection against the actual oil seeping it out.
Well, it depends maybe what kind of wood. Like I have used.
I'm just going to do a little bit of an
I've done
alteration.
mason. I painted on masonite, and then I've also painted on. I painted on masonite, and I've also painted on thicker board, and I forget what that's. I forget what kind of wood that
You might be
was.
able to clear something up for me. You know, masonite board, right? That's not the same as MDF, is it?
Oh, MDF. MDF. No, that's not the same.
Because masonite board's quite thin, isn't it?
Hi, Gracie.
Hi, Gracie. Right. I'm just making some alterations so I can actually get right. Is that close enough?
Hello again, Crafting with Fury. So nice to see you here.
I'll be back in a second. I just need to get a glass of water.
I'm doing good, Gracie. Yeah, I had to. I'm doing good today. How are you, Gracie? Oh, Kathleen's still here. Thank you, Kathleen. So great. You're still here moderating. Yeah, I think you're my only moderator here. Thank you, Kathleen. My neighbor should be showing up soon. You might be leaving soon, Kathleen. Okay. Thanks for staying around as long as you did. Oh, and Gracie's feeling much better. And your neighbors should be showing up soon. I saw your neighbors, Kathleen. You got cows for neighbors. Ha ha. And then when Kathleen leaves, I don't know where what other moderator I got in here. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's right. Never crush someone's talents. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, come on, all of us, right?
Do you have a pet? Or is that your father's pet?
What? Hey?
What pencil is Ian using?
What pencil am I using? Well, at the I'm using two pencils at this moment in time. This one here.
There's some new people that just came in. Can you like zoom out and then zoom back in again?
I can't now because I've.
No, he can't. He can't. So he's working on a horse's head, but he cannot zoom out. So now you're going to see he's only going to do some detail work on the eye. No problem.
This is a 5mm wide graphite clutch pencil.
That's a mechanical pencil, right?
Yeah, it's one of these what goes like this. If I can. Yeah, it's not a mechanical pencil. They're called clutch pencils. These. A mechanical pencil is one of these.
Ah, you have one of both of them.
And that's a 0.5, and that's what would you call them?
Thanks, Gracie, for popping by.
That's a Staedtler.
Oh yeah, Staedtler. Yeah, that's a good brand.
Staedtler technical pencil. They're not expensive, but they're really nicely weighted pencils, and they're great. I love them. That's what I'm using for detail, and this is one that I'm using for doing bigger, expressive, because it's 5mm wide, that lead. So it's a fairly big thing. And that's Kohinoor, and it's a clutch pencil. So that's what I'm using. So let's. What I will do is I'm going to get some paper so that I can.
Oh, good. Kathleen's still going to stick around. She's not leaving. That's good. She's my only moderator right now.
I know. I'm normally one of your
He's on
moderators.
panel, so
Well,
he can't.
how many's there? I mean,
What?
how many people are actually
Let
there in the?
me check again. Let me check again. Hold on. Let me watch. 10 people watching.
It's not bad. That.
That's my average is 10. I get sometimes I get a little fewer and sometimes I get a little bit more, but pretty much that's my average. I'd like to average around 20, but that's not my average.
You steadily build up. I mean, I've been going. I've been on YouTube.
I've not been alive.
About 4 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. I started building up, but I've been off YouTube for 9 to 10 days. So now maybe people have to start coming back again.
Well, it doesn't take long for people to like move on to other things, does it? I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, I'm.
But it's a Friday night. A lot of people aren't here on a Friday night. They're doing other things, you know.
I should be out at disco, shouldn't I? Really.
Oh, Gracie's leaving. Okay, bye, Gracie. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow around 11 o'clock. I might be doing my live stream around 11.
Oh, I'll be right in the middle of stressing out about my football tomorrow.
You know, you'll be watching soccer tomorrow?
I will be, yes.
Yeah, I don't expect you to be here every day. It would be nice if you could come here.
Oh, I mean, I don't know what do you mean? What that's your time? 11 your time. It might
11 my time is. I'll tell you. It's 4 p.m. your time.
Oh, I'll be virtually done by that time anyway.
Right. So I'll give you. That's the only day that I don't do 4 p.m. All the other days of the week I do 4 p.m. It's only Saturday because we usually go out to eat on Saturday night. That's why I can't do 4 p.m. on Saturday. So Saturday I make it maybe around 11 o'clock, but I might even make it noon. That might be even a better time because I noticed that 11 o'clock, then it starts picking up more and more people like around noon. So it's going to be like around 11 or 12 tomorrow.
Well, and we'll see, because I mean, thing is over the next few days, my main priority is getting everything sorted out, all shopping that we need for Mrs. Jackson going to the Philippines. So we've got to get all that sort of stuff sorted out.
Oh, it's too bad my cookie my professional cookie baker friend couldn't come in today, and I thought she made it sound like she was going to be able to, but I guess she couldn't.
Well, I mean, you have to make firm arrangements with people and say, look, that's what we're planning.
Yeah, that's right. It was last minute. It was last minute saying like, oh, maybe. Right. So she did come to the chat. Like I saw her in the chat, but I guess she couldn't come up on the panel.
What I'm doing basically is like slowly but surely building up.
Is there a day of the week that you can come here like once a week, every week?
I can't commit to anything because I have to put myself around whatever things get thrown at me every day. So in saying that, for the next couple of weeks, I've not got Mrs. Jackson to look after. Hey.
No, you have your father to look after, right?
Oh no, because he's going to be going away as well somewhere.
Your father's going away?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not in too bad a physical condition that he can.
No, we're not talking about him like going to Benidorm and spending. You know, I mean, we're not. He's well enough to get about, but he's not. It's not. he'll be sat in a wheelchair most of the time.
Oh, I see. My mother was like that for the last several years of her life. Oh, well, after she had a major stroke, so it was like the last 13 years of her life she was in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I don't like about this pencil is it's like a very light. It's a bit too light, so I'm gonna.
White? You said
it's a bit too light.
Wide.
A bit too light. Light.
Light. L-I-G-H-T?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, hi, Christopher. Welcome back. Oh, he's turtly enough. Because Kathleen said the turtle wins the race, and Christopher Bacon said, Kathleen, I'm turtly enough.
Yeah.
Turtle Club. He's part of the Turtle Club.
Right. Let's see if I can make some slight adjustment. I'm going to get me over.
LOL, Christopher. Let me know you.
So these are nice solid pencils. Ooh, 9B. That'll do it.
So I caught you on a time that you could come here.
Yeah.
I'll let you know, like, I guess other days, and then you just let me know whether you can. Mondays I know are not a good day.
I mean,
Monday's not a good day for you.
You can always. I mean, normally I end up being on somebody else's live as a what they call it, as a moderator, but don't seem to be any lives on at the moment today. So pretty much, yeah, I'm free to go, as it were.
And you're gonna watch Gina's replay of the art galleries?
Yeah, I've got that one to watch. Yeah, because I got it just before you messaged me.
Yeah, I watched it live, and I was able to ask her all kinds of questions.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's very appropriate for you guys over at US, because the things that she's talking about are quite pertinent for the US.
Well, you think it's like a lot different in the UK?
There will be subtle differences, yeah.
Okay. Probably. I guess you're right.
I mean, it all depends on your market and the galleries. Some galleries in the US might be a bit more modern and open to newer people, whereas other galleries.
Oh no, yeah. She talked about like which gallery. If you're an emerging artist, you want to approach galleries that are only going to accept emerging artists, but
yeah.
You have to research the galleries. You don't just approach every gallery. You got to do your research and see which galleries, and then you have to see what style of art they would take. So then if you see a gallery that has kind of like a style of art that you really resonate with, that you like, and then I told her, well, I have an MFA, that's a Master in Fine Arts, plus because I went to graduate school for art, and I've been in tons of group shows. I've had a few solo shows. I've had art grants. I go, am I still an emerging artist? And she said, no, you could qualify as an emerging artist and mid-career, because there's emerging, mid-career, and established. So she said, no, you could approach galleries with emerging artists and mid-career. So of course there's tons of galleries in Philadelphia. There's a few like in a town, like the next town over, there's a gallery. I have to see what kind of work they have in there. And
I mean, right. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but you know Rembrandt, one of the great artists.
Oh yeah. You said what he did was, in fact, I told that, and I even said that in the chat. And she said she always reads her. She didn't address it during the live stream, but she says she always reads everything that everybody wrote after the live stream is over. And I wrote exactly what you wrote. I go, oh yeah, Rembrandt, he was like doing fashionable. He was creating art that was in the fashion of the times, and then he was rich, but he died penniless because
people moved on
because the fashion changed.
The fashion changed, and it weren't that he weren't getting better at his art. His best work were towards the end of his life, you know, because he'd polished his abilities and skill to that higher extent that he knew what he was doing with it. So, and yet, that was the point where people rejected his art.
They rejected him toward the end of his life.
Yeah, you know, the best work he did, and what that tells you is it's down to whether something's fashionable, not whether you're a great artist or
Hold
not.
on, somebody's saying something in the chat. No, Christopher, Rembrandt was rich. He was rich during his life, but he died penniless. He did die penniless because the fashion changed. So he was rich for his lifetime because he was painting in the style of the fashion of the times. But then he changed, and then he died. He died penniless. Yes.
He almost went to pauper's house.
Hi, Grizz. How you doing? Nice to see you.
If that can happen to someone as, I mean, we almost lost him as an artist. He almost fell into absolute obscurity.
Hi, Kathleen.
It were only later on when people started to realise what he'd done with light and his ability to paint people in a realistic way that they realised that what his skills actually were. And then he became fashionable again. But that was well after. That was centuries after he died.
Somebody said he was ahead of his time, of course, right?
Massively. I mean, all best artists were ahead of the times. Look at Turner, right? When he started painting those vague forms of, you know, almost blurry things blurring into one another, it was massively ahead of its time. And then later on, 50 years later, along come French Impressionists who were doing exactly the same. So all the that's it. Thing is, sometimes being ahead of your time don't always do you a lot of good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes people who are not artists want you to fulfill their brief and not the one. And this is something that I debate with people a lot. What do you do if you're an artist? Do you spend your time focusing on you?
Hi, Christy. Welcome. She's going to be my new moderator. Hopefully she hangs in. Thanks, Christy, for joining because Kathleen had to go. Yes. Yes, Ian.
So, do you spend your focus time on
trying to be ahead of our time?
Yeah, trying to be ahead of your time. And
trying to be ahead of our time. Do you know how many artists are? Go to the Whitney Museum of Art. Go to in Paris, the George Pompidou Center. Those are those artists that are ahead of their times. I mean, you're using like technology and all kinds of creative ways and this and that.
I'm not talking about.
I don't think I'm being ahead of my time using my traditional materials.
Contemporary. I'm on about what do you do? Do you work at being an innovator?
Exactly. Are you working to be? That's really hard. Like that's like installation art. That's working with technology in all kinds of creative ways. I mean, well, I've seen people that are like the head of their times, and they're like, they're being celebrated in contemporary art museums. I've seen all kinds of things artists do that seem to be like ahead of their times, but they're being celebrated.
Do you work at being you as an artist, or do you spend time?
I work at being me as an artist, but I don't think I'm ahead of my times.
Do you pander to what they call feeding the beast?
No. My art never feeds the beast. No, are you kidding?
No, I'm not saying you personally. I'm talking about as an artist. Do you do art that's popular and
no, the kind of art that I just did. I did a collection. I did a whole collection, and because they talked about this Etsy expert, because I do have an Etsy shop, and I'm trying to sell my art on Etsy. That's the avenue I was pursuing for the past year. I just started last July, and I just have been doing it for a year now. See how it goes on Etsy, right? So, and then just like in March, or no, it was in April, I launched my new collection, which tied in with Earth Day, and it was called the Magical Mother Earth Collection. And it's all iPad digital art, and the only way you're going to get it is like it has to be printed on demand on archival paper. And I love that art, and for me, I love the art, but guess what? Only one of them sold. Only one.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's this. If you want to do the art that you feel passionate about, sometimes you have to make the sacrifice of it not being the popular thing.
But
in years
I get tired of doing that all kinds of things.
People will look at your art and go, "Wow, that were innovative." It may not be in your lifetime. Look,
say that again. Say that again.
Well, in future, people will look at your art and go, "Oh, look, her art stands out from everybody else's because everybody else were doing that kind of art." And
no, I don't know if it's ever going to materialize. It's all in my iPad. I didn't print everything out on archival paper. It was print on demand.
What I'm saying is,
it's all locked up in my iPad, which will get thrown away in a landfill.
But what I'm saying is in the future, regardless of which artist you're talking about, you either, if you're a person who works at your own passion and you work at it and you keep working at it, eventually that will shine through against people who just did the thing that everybody else were doing at the time.
I've been trying to do that my whole life. And I've gotten in group shows. I've gotten in jury. I've been in many group shows, juried group shows, non-jury groups. I've gotten like 2 or 3 art grants because of because of a unique personal vision that I had. And then
the masters that we all look up to, right? How many of these? The masters that we all look up to. How many of those?
But their times were different. I don't know if their times were like maybe much different than ours.
Did they do any of that? They didn't. They just got on with the art. And then people who were patrons who liked their art said, "Yeah, I'll have a piece of that," and they bought it off them. And that's how they became famous. And then eventually they got people like the Lord of the Manor. He'd go, "Oh yeah, I've heard he's a good painter. We'll get him in." And then King comes along and goes, "I want to royal patronage here." And then that's how they got famous. It weren't entering competitions and doing art against other artists. But like you said, we're a different era.
Well, anyway, I'm done with that. I have that on my resume, and that's all I need for right now. But What are you saying about being against other artists? Like even if you're trying to get into an art gallery?
No, I'm just saying that if you look at the history of art, most artists used to like get together and work together. They didn't like go, oh, my art's against your art. I'm going to put my art in competition against yours. All these competitions that we do these days are fabricated ideas, really, by the people who do the critiquing and make money out of gallery money. You'll find very few examples of the masters where there's any kind of, oh, we used to do competitions against this artist and that artist and see who's the best, and it just didn't happen like that. There were rivalries occasionally.
No, some of those artists were they were doing that. They were trying to get into like the Impressionists were trying to get into the those gallery, the greatest galleries in Paris, and some of them could get in and some of them could not.
But then again, that's down to that what we said earlier about if your face fits in that particular mold. I mean, I can't imagine that, like, for example, let's say a gallery liked Monet's paintings and they, had all his paintings, and then Chirac comes along and says, how about mine? Well, we do paintings here like Monet and you were different. So that's the way it is. It's horses for courses. They've got a clientele that like that particular type of painting. So that's why they buy it in off of the artist.
Well, it depends. Different masters some masters were celebrated in their day and some of them weren't. Like Salvador Dali, he was celebrated in his day. Picasso was, so was Picasso. Some were and some weren't.
In our modern times, there's been a lot more artists celebrated in their lifetime than used to be. I mean, don't get me wrong. Most artists, when they were in vogue and they were doing the best work, were celebrated. Some got to become, heads of great art societies, like Gainsborough, for example. He became the landscape Artist Society's first ever president, for example. So people did get, they did get celebrated during the lifetime.
Some of them weren't, some of them weren't. That doesn't make them worse or better.
Oh no! I mean, listen, there's some great artists who vanished into obscurity, never to be seen ever again.
Right.
So
like that's going to happen to me. I mean, no, I mean, I'm not going to be. I don't. That's what I think. Like whatever I do is like that's gonna. So whatever I get is like what I get in my lifetime, because I don't think anything's gonna happen after my lifetime with my art. What, I was a legally blind artist, so I get somewhat something. Or locally, maybe locally, if I ever can get contacts and start like hanging out with my 2 local art centers.
You'll find
2 local art centers. What?
You'll find in the modern era that there are very few examples of
the people that die and then get celebrated.
very few artists that are celebrated in that sense. Yeah.
After they die, right?
Well, even as they're alive. There's that many artists nowadays, to be frank, with 10 a penny. We're no different than somebody who bakes bread down at local factory. So
What about local factory?
There's that many people who are artists and who can do things at a level that's considered to be artistic and creative.
Yes.
We're not that big a deal anymore. So and the problem is there aren't that many new, innovative, creative art forms.
Well, have you been to the Whitney Museum of Art, like the Whitney,
I am, but I know for
or
a fact
the George Pompidou Center in Paris? That's where the innovative art is.
yeah, but it's all based around other art that's been in the past.
But they're using, well, maybe, but they're using innovative materials.
Yeah, but I mean,
Materials that have not been used in the past.
Artists have always used innovative materials.
Okay.
So that don't make an artist special.
Here we go. Kylie Q. Yes, go ahead.
What makes an artist special is if they innovate art. The great artists brought us something new. Like Rembrandt, the way he did his lighting brought us something new. All the great art movements brought us something new. What has the modern art movement that we're around today, the contemporary art movement, brought us? Not very much. We're in a period where there isn't that much innovation in comparison to the last century and the century before that. So
really,
yeah,
there's people doing a lot of really innovative things with new materials.
Yeah, I know you're going to talk about computerized stuff and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, well, and other like plastics, using plastics in all different ways.
Yeah. But what difference is that to using metal and stone?
Like they're not trying to do.
It's only sculpting.
Like
the skills that they're using are no different to the skills that were used.
Oh no, not the skills. No, you're right. Not the skills. It's more the concept. So was it you that I was talking about conceptual art?
Yeah. What do you mean? Do you mean because let's look at a sculpture, right? Neoclassical sculpture that looks like it's been done in the Roman period. That's a very specific type of sculpture.
Yeah.
So Longan does a blobby face that don't look nothing like that. Is that innovative? No, isn't it? Something
no. What about like this? There's like a. It looked no. What I forget what the George Pompidou Center. They had like a. It looked like people sleeping under a sheet, and then it would inflate, and then it would deflate, and it would inflate, and then it would deflate.
So it's almost an animated figure.
Right. It was moving art. Right.
Moving art, yeah. But that to me is bordering on the edge of not being art.
I know. Oh, come on. So see that I see that as something innovative and different from the past.
Well, in that sense, then, is contemporary dance art in the same sense? That's movement, isn't it?
All things YouTube. Oh my goodness. All things YouTube. Nice to see you here. And wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let me take out time to thank some people in the chat. Oh, thank you, Kylie. Thank you, Kylie, for your kind comments. She said we're both great artists. She loves my art and she loves your art.
Is as well. Check Kylie out.
Kylie,
Actually,
you know who Kylie Koo is, right? You know Kylie Koo, right?
yes.
And then we have All Things YouTube. Hi, it's good to see you again. Oh yes, I'm sorry I missed your past shows. I was on we had a family reunion and I had family things to take care of. Matt Haas, All Things YouTube. So nice for you to stop by. And we're having an art discussion. Oh, he loves art. He might be able to he might be able. Do you want to get on panel All Things YouTube, Matt Haas? Because he loves art. Would you like to add to our discussion? We're discussion about art.
Who wants to just hear my opinion? No one. Coming in.
What was that? Matt, he's a woodworker, but he loves art, and he might add to our discussion. So Matt Haas, if you want to get on here.
For me, a person who works in something like wood.
Yes, he works wood.
Or metal or things like that. They're a kind of artist. But when you start talking about certain other areas, you start moving away from the concept of art into a different expression, and therefore it's no longer art for me.
For you?
For me, it is. There are certain things that I refuse to say are art.
Hi, Oz Art. Oz Art.
There are certain things that I think, you know what, that is actually more craft, or that is some other form of expression. It's almost as though it's got to be art for it to have any valid relevance, and it hasn't. It can stand alone. Don't get me wrong, contemporary dancing is an art form in itself, but I don't consider it to be art, not in the sense of creative art in this sense.
Are you only thinking of the traditional arts and not like contemporary art?
I'm talking about art generally. There's got to be a line that you.
Oh, here we got another guest for our panel, and he's a lover. He's an art lover. Matt Haas, welcome, Matt.
Hey, hi everybody. Thanks for having me on, Diana. How are you?
We are in a deep discussion about art.
Hey, that's one of my favorite topics. Ian, hi. Nice to meet you. My name's Matt.
Tell us all about yourself.
Oh, well, sure thing. My favorite topic, talking about myself.
I've been on blithering on about stuff for the last couple of hours, so go for it.
All good, all good. Well, I graduated design school, so I have a background in that, and I started.
What school?
It was Bradley Academy for the Visual Arts. And
okay.
Do you mind telling us what you graduated as?
I graduated in 1990 with graphic design and commercial art.
One of the noble arts.
Yes. It was all visual, and it wasn't so there was no dance or anything like that, but it was focused on the visual arts, and I was in the graphic design, commercial art, and that part of it. And I did textbook illustrations in Adobe Illustrator directly out of school, and I've been for a publisher, and I've been with publisher ever since. But I have a awesome career, and I did a lot of web design and a lot of online type of things, and I have a wood shop, as Diana mentioned. I have Awesome Wood Things. I'm not logged in as Awesome Wood Things. I'm logged into my other show, All Things YouTube here, where I make stuff in the wood shop because I'm creative. I love to be creative. And when I do stuff online and you turn the computer off, your stuff goes away. But when you make something physical, it's always there.
Very therapeutic. Being creative is the most therapeutic thing you can do.
I love it. I love creative people too. People who are creative are just like the best people to hang out with.
So what do you think to the debate that I don't know how much you've picked up on, but what do you think to the debate that we're having?
Oh,
Yeah, give me the talking points because I just jumped in. And as soon as I got here, I went right on the panel. So
Well, I was. Go ahead, Ian.
No, you go on. You say it is
Well,
you.
I was saying at the George Pompidou Center, where there's a lot of contemporary art. Also at the Whitney Biennial, they always have showing the top, like, cutting edge contemporary art. But let's say at the George Pompidou Center in Paris, I remember seeing like this thing that looked like people. It was like under a blanket. And the thing would inflate and then deflate and inflate and deflate. So it was like moving art. I mean, like it's kinetic. It's kinetic art. And then Ian said something about maybe that's dance art, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Okay, so there's so many cutting edge contemporary kinds of art where artists are being innovative they're being innovative with materials that we didn't have from the past.
That's cool. Yeah, I love things in motion, and I am starting to work on some. I call them kinetic sculptures, gears, motorized gears. So like the sculpture will change as the gears engage and then make different things happen. And I love 3-dimensional stuff too. Here, I'll give you an example. It's just a fun piece I did. I did the the frame in my wood shop, but I put this pattern. This is the Art Deco pattern. If you look close, does this look familiar to anybody? This
almost looks like a circuit board to me. That
it kind of does, but this is what Stanley Kubrick used in the movie The Shining. On the floor of the Overlook Hotel, there was a rug pattern. This is the rug pattern of The Shining, and I made it into a piece of art.
Nice.
And I put it on some text because
I know I've seen that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to give this away. There's going to be a contest on the Awesome Wood Things channel, and I made 2 of them, one for myself and one to give away. So, see how it's 3-dimensional? See, this is actually lifted up. See, I can get my finger underneath.
Stuck onto the glass behind it.
Yeah. So there's a big thick 1/4-inch piece of glass, and then underneath that is text, because text is art too. I love type. I love typography. This says all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Over and over.
That's a quote from the movie, right?
Yeah. And it's in the typewriter font.
Yeah, in that what they use to show every letter in the alphabet.
Yes, and that typeface is this fixed width, like a typewriter, because each typewriter slot had a fixed width to it, so it feels very typewriter-ish. But the point is, you're talking about this moving art at the gallery. I love moving art, and I love 3-dimensional type art, because when I worked online, everything's flat, and I'm like, I like things that are 3-dimensional.
I do like making.
But you have to have a space for them.
Three-dimensional models.
Yeah, I made this too.
I love doing stuff like that.
Oh, let me see that. Let me look at that close. What you're doing? Hold on, it's going to come up in a minute on my iPad.
Is that on a similar thing to what you would not a spirograph?
Oh, cool! You made that.
This isn't a piece of art per se; it's more of a tool. But this measures the golden ratio that artists use. Are you familiar with the golden ratio?
Yes, I'm familiar with the golden ratio.
Yeah, you see how this is always a little bit smaller than this one? It's amazing. So I built this to help me.
You built that?
Yeah, I created it.
Did you make it out of a plastic machine that,
Yes, it's acrylic, and I put it on my scroll saw, a little saw, and I made the shape, and then I bought these double-threaded pins as the spokes, or not the spokes.
They're not normally made like that, though, are they? It's more like a rectangle, isn't it?
They come in all different configurations. Yeah, but this was just the one I chose, and it helps me with art.
I'm going to zoom out. I'm just going to alter my thing so that I can zoom out.
Cool.
He's drawing a horse's head.
Nice.
I've done the eye now, and that's that done. Oh no!
He fell off before because of he's dropped out before because of doing this. So we hope it's okay.
Drop some things. I'm not watching the chat. If anyone's talking to me, I'm
Oh yeah, I'm watching the chat. I'll let you know.
okay. Let's drop a
But
little.
people were saying hello to you, Matt, before they were. A
Okay.
bunch of people were saying hello to you.
Hi, Christy. Ozart. Oh, I know Ozart.
Oh, you know Ozar?
Crafting with Fury.
Crafting with Fury.
Nice.
And Kylie was saying hello to you.
Hi,
Christy's
Kylie.
saying hello. Oh, so you can see the chat.
Yeah, I just wasn't keeping up with it while I was
Oh, okay.
yammering on about myself. I'm trying to do some sculpture. This is not quite where I want it yet.
But, so all the sculpture you do, is it kinetic?
This is going to be not kinetic. This is going to be the piranha plant from New Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
The little guy, he comes out and tries to eat you, but it's at a very early stage. And this uses a plastic putty that dries real hard.
Are you making that for somebody?
Just for me, just for funsies. And this is, I did some metalworking, so I made these. These are Pac-Man ghost eyes. You familiar with this? Look. Oh, I gotta just.
Ghost eye?
Yeah, this is Pac-Man ghosts. This is the eyes of a Pac-Man ghost.
That's
For
the
those
eyes
of
of
you,
the ghost.
I'm
Okay.
too young to remember Pac-Man. That were a game back in 1980.
Yeah, I love it. I painted these. This Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde, the ghosts. You see them back there?
Uh-huh.
I know they're probably hard to see.
Oh, I
We
can't.
sell them on as t-shirts and all sorts of great.
Oh, shoot.
It's really retro graphics.
I think you can
Classic.
see them a little better now. Back there. I'm real tiny on the screen. Anyway, I painted it.
Do you ever try to show in art galleries?
No. I'm more,
gallery representation.
I'm more of make stuff for myself and more commercial type graphic design. I'm not
commercial graphic design. Right.
That's what I was trying to explain. There's a balance what people try to get between what we call feeding the beast and putting out art for people who want art and creating art because it's your inward self that you want to express. And where is the balance there? And I would say it's got to be more toward you as a person creating art rather than creating art, unless you're a commercial artist who does something for a client, obviously. But if you're doing creative art and you're doing it for your own self-expression, it should really be very much lent toward you and doing what you want to do as an artist.
That's the majority of what I do is just for me. And I like sharing it. I like to share how I created it with my YouTube channel, my audience on my YouTube channel. And so that's what I do. My whole office here is decorated in stuff that I've created myself. And I really
the lights, did you make the lights yourself?
Yes. A lot of the things I did myself. This fruit I made here on my printer. This is what Pac-Man eats. The fruit, the fruit in the middle. So those are.
You know what you need to do now, don't you? Space Invaders.
Oh yeah, that's next. Yep. I love little aliens.
And don't forget to do the 1,000. No, it was 500 points, weren't it? The big one that goes across the screen at the top.
The saucer. Yeah, I like that one.
Cool.
Well, I love art. I love things visual. I love things colorful. I love things. I get a lot of joy out of it, and it could be anything, even typefaces. As I said, I created my own typeface. It's called Haas Light.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
but that's art too. People don't think it is.
Yeah.
But it really is.
It is.
I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I'm actually a hand-painted sign writer.
Oh, nice.
So that's pivotal to my trade. being able to draw and paint font and know how to space it and how to do things like that.
Oh,
So
sure.
I'm absolutely fascinated by text. I don't always put it in my art, but I love designing it as well.
No,
There's a lot to be said for designing font.
Yep.
I love it.
I'm big on the curly apostrophes because a lot of times with computers, people, put apostrophes and they just click it on the keyboard. It's actually the foot symbol.
No.
It's not the curly quote. I like the curly quotes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dig it. I dig it.
I mean, there's all sorts of room for expression, but what I were actually saying is, where do you draw the line for what is creative art?
Yeah.
When does it suddenly become some other form of expressiveness?
The line starts and ends with what I like. Now, if I'm doing something for a client, and you know what, I've kind of phased out the client work because
commission work, you mean?
Yeah, commissioned work. Well, creative commissioned work. Now, I'll do web development work.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll do other types of things. But if I need something graphic that's done, like a corporate identity, they need a logo. I tend to say no to that stuff.
Right.
Not because I don't enjoy it. The thing I found was it's hard to price.
Yeah, it can be, because you can spend a long time working at a particular thing, and then they can go back. Can you tweak this? Can you tweak that?
Yeah, and I tried all the tricks, 3 rounds of correction, blah blah blah, but it's a little unnerving, because if I budget 4 hours, it might take me 6, or and I'm just like, you know what? So for commercial stuff that's creative, I tend to subcontract.
Your friend is here, Jim Bashirs.
Hey, Driveway Workshop with Jim Bashirs. Hello.
Driveway Workshop, yeah.
Hi, Jim.
So
he followed you here.
Oh, nice.
What happened? What did he do? He followed. Hi, Jim Bashirs.
I think he's stalking me. I don't think I announced that I was here, but maybe.
Yeah, how'd that happen? How'd you find your way here? How'd you find your way here, Jim Bashirs?
Matt,
he says I'm a Matt stalker. He admitted it.
He did. He was a Matt stalker.
It's all good, brother. I love you, Jim.
Do you go live at any time?
I go live 7 p.m. Monday on All Things YouTube, and I talk about how to be awesome on YouTube.
Are you more like in that sense how to be a better YouTuber?
Correct.
Yeah, not necessarily crafter or creative in that sense, but
not crafter or art creative. It's just how to be YouTube. I am going to launch some shows on Awesome Wood Things in the future, and that will have it's actually going to be a big focus on the creativity part, not necessarily how to do the craft, but the creative artistic part. It's going to be a big focus. But that's coming in the future, and that won't be on All Things YouTube. It'll be on Awesome Wood Things.
So we have been discussing YouTube this evening, and the reason why we got onto the subject that we've just been talking about, we're talking about critique and how important critique is. What do you feel about the tending to phase out the what they call it, the dislike button?
That's only being thought of at a very cursory level. I don't believe they're seriously considering doing that.
Yeah. When you go into the analytics and look at try and look at likes versus dislikes, it's actually now being scrubbed out. So that's in the beta testing.
Well,
whether that's in the I don't know whether I think they're in two minds, aren't they?
It's my thoughts are the dislike is actually valuable because when there's an equal ratio of likes to dislikes, that's actually desired by YouTube because they know that people who love the topic will watch the video, and people who don't love the topic will watch the video. So my fourth top performing video on my big channel, my awesome, this has over 5,000 subscribers. This one that I have here is only a couple hundred, but my fourth most top performing has about 120 likes and 120 dislikes. It's almost exactly the same. And they love it. So I would hope they don't delete the dislike button, because it tells them, it's a signal to YouTube that's valuable for them to know. So
I'd like them to put a situation in place where a person can speak either privately to the YouTube creator and tell them why they've put the dislike. That would be
they were considering having a couple radio button choices as to why you're disliking it, but that's going to take some engineering effort and some rollout and test, and I don't think they want to spend the time to engineer that into the product, but who knows?
I mean, with this new beta setup coming into play fairly soon,
The studio beta,
yeah. It according to YouTube, it will be a much more robust piece of equipment that they can engineer things a lot easier and better with. So maybe things like that will come along at some point.
Correct. The new studio beta, they can add and features to it much more easily. The old one has so much legacy code, it's almost impossible for them to add new features to it, because it's so complicated and large and bloated, and it uses a different technology stack. So yeah, they have to move. They have to move.
Well, I mean, it's inevitable. I'm surprised that we've stayed on HTML5 for this length of time.
Yeah.
Said John Bashir. I just want to apologize to Jim Bashir. My moderators are just trying to do their job, and so whenever the word subscribe come up, and so I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you.
I'm confused too about like when we're supposed to use that word or not use that word. So
they're trying to discourage
sub for sub.
I didn't want to say it, but yeah,
like subs.
Yeah, they want natural, organic growth on your channel.
Well,
right.
I mean,
they use the word subscribe. How could that be a bad word when it's in the big red button on the big red button?
Yeah, but
I don't have any insight as to why they tag certain words as undesirable. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to it, but that's their intent. Their intent is to discourage that. But you know what? People find a way. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
So one of my mods just deleted Jim Bashir's message, and my apologies. It's just that my mod is trying to do their job.
Yeah, the system could have done it by themselves. I mean, it may not even have been one.
Yeah, I mean, automatic system on chat can do a lot of things, and it leaves the mods thinking, "Hey, what's happened here?" I've seen it happen myself. I'm a mod on a lot of lives, and sometimes you don't understand why certain things have been stopped.
Yeah,
but they've got the overall picture at YouTube. They've got a plan in place, and they're going to incorporate it, and that's it. We're just there for the ride.
Wow, we're there making the platform worth it.
Well, yeah, fair enough. I mean,
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. We
at the end of the day, if we complain too much, we might not ever have a platform. That's what they're providing, a platform.
Yeah.
You can't have an actor without a stage.
It's true. It's true.
Unless you're one of them open air.
YouTube's a complicated thing. Have you ever tried to serve video over the internet, it's a very expensive and costly and complicated proposition. I'm surprised that 400 hours of YouTube video is uploaded every minute. It's insane.
Because that's very expensive to do that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's very
and you're doing it for free, so it's all the advertisers paying for it.
Yeah, yes. Well, the model is now advertiser supported and supported through YouTube Premium. Those are payments people can make, supported through super chats, supported through super stickers, and supported through memberships. That's the incoming revenue to the company.
I'll tell you what I had to go at this week that came up online. If you go into beta, they've now got 2 uploads.
Yeah, I saw that. The one didn't make it down to this channel I'm on. It made it to my my Awesome with Things channel.
But it's all linked into the beta settings. It looks like when you go into beta, you know, everything that's familiar in beta now, it just looks as though you're in that.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward
to
getting
used to it. At first, I didn't like it at all, but I'm getting there with it. If you force yourself out of it, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, because it's soon going to be the only option, whether you like it or not. And just on subject of only option, do you think that YouTube are going to be bringing out a Hangout?
They've already done it. They removed it.
But are they going to be bringing one out? A newer updated
No, they replaced it with something called Webcam, which isn't the same as Google Hangouts on Air.
No.
Webcam is just a single camera. You can't do
it's for mobile phone use, that, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not a panel. You can't have Ian and Matt and Diana on the same show with the replacement.
Do you think that they're going to replace it with that, or do you think this is what we're left with? This what we're on at the moment, StreamYard, which is
StreamYard is one third-party solution. That StreamYard's not a YouTube property, but as far as YouTube's control, that they have Webcam and they have events. And they have Stream Now or Live Now or Stream Now.
Do I believe they've actually moved it to some other part, Google M or something like that? I read something that they've taken it and moved it to something called Google M.
I'm not familiar with that, but Hangouts is gone on YouTube. Hangouts on Air. It's not an option.
All right, it's gone. August 1st it was.
Yep. Can't do it. You can do events, but you need to have broadcaster software.
Yeah.
OBS or vMix or something like that.
See, that's my problem with this, what I've got now. If I want to go on with you guys, I don't know. And they're into streaming key for OBS yet, for the StreamYard. So I can't use my OBS to go onto StreamYard.
Oh, I've heard people can combine StreamYard with OBS.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I must not have learned how to do it yet.
Yeah, there's a configuration step that you'll need to learn, but you can absolutely go live with OBS. But OBS, you can't bring in other panel members. Well, you can if you configure up Skype, but it takes some pretty high-end technical expertise to do that. So,
listen, subject to
StreamYard is so user friendly.
I mean, it can't be any higher up than having to alter dip switches on graphics card every time you wanted to do a different thing. We're talking about 1980s technology.
Oh, baby, those were the days. My 64 kilobit computer.
Oh, dear me. Why is your graphic card not working right? Because you've got to take that pin and put it there.
Folks, I gotta get going here. I'm in the middle of uploading a video. I'm trying to be awesome on YouTube.
For stopping by. So nice to see you.
I love art. Stay creative, everybody. Everyone out there.
I'll check you out.
I don't know if I can contribute much, but I am an enthusiast, and I know what I like. So that's kind of how I run.
You did contribute, and thanks. We love seeing you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Very awesome. Drop a like on the video before you leave.
Thanks.
Great.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, thumbs up on the video. I'm trying to beat a record of 50 that I got 2 weeks ago.
Right,
So
I'm not. I'm going to be doing some fairly rapid. Because I'm going to keep this a bit loose, I think. Because I'm a bit. I know if I keep going at it, I'll be there for hours and hours and hours. So
yeah, you will take hours on that, right?
possibly. I mean, you could put 100 hours into it if you wanted, and get it absolutely spot on. But I'm not in that frame of mind today. I've got to say, creatively wise, I like things fairly quick and loose and loose and expressive.
By looking at your work, I never think that's what you would like.
Well, if you look at me art, I'm not. If you look what I'm doing, I'm not going like this.
You're not what?
I'm not drawing like this, am I? I'm actually quite. No, that's.
Yeah, you're being loose right now. You're going to tighten that up.
Yeah. To start with, you start loose, and you do it overall. All right, an overall loose area, large loose area, and as you see things, tonally speaking, you tighten up a bit. You say, oh well, I need an awful lot more there, and you tighten up more, and slowly but surely you build it to the point where you've got something that looks real without it being a 1,000-hour-long artwork. But I don't consider myself to be realist in that sense.
You don't consider yourself what?
Yeah, I don't consider myself to be realist.
Oh my God. What?
If you look at a realist artist, you could see the photographer in the eye of the. If it were a realist drawing, the person taking the photograph, you'd be able to see them in perfect and notice that it's a certain person. That's how real paintings are. So I don't consider myself to be real.
Right. Yeah, when I see your art, it's not photorealistic. No, it's not photorealistic, but it's still realistic.
Yeah,
it's not photorealistic. That's a genre of realism. You're not. Yeah, it's not photorealism, but you're still realistic.
I try to work towards something that looks real, but I try to use expressive tools at me disposal.
Well, do you think you're like impressionist, realist?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I use every artist on the planet, whether they're realists or not, only create an impression. There's no such thing as a reality. The only reality is the thing that's directly in front of you that you see.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot reproduce realism. We can only create an impression of realism. So, as far as I'm concerned, every painting and drawing is a piece of impressionist art. So, and you by varying your different strokes and your different things that you do in your drawing, that helps you develop the piece of artwork. And certain areas you're going to do because I see some people who do like an horse, and every little bit of air, they try to paint every little bit of air like that.
Right. I thought that's what you tried to do.
Why do you do that? Why can't you just go? And that's an area. And that's what a lot of new artists who've not had experience do. So, but that's inexperience, isn't it? So, that's I think the mistake I've made with this painting is the horse is a bit too. There's not enough contrast in the actual drawing. In the photo.
Contrast. Yes, you can add contrast.
Can, but they're in. It's as though they took the photograph. The background is black, and they've took a very strong light source, and rest of horse is quite light in comparison. So they're into an awful lot of stuff I can work with it. So I'm having to like tentatively work it out myself, which is not always easy. But then again, when you work without expressive things like this and doing it expressively, you can do that. You can take liberties with things because you're not expected to do things in an exact way.
But I assume, because I know your work, and I would assume you're loose right now and you're going to tighten it up.
In certain areas, I will. I mean, that's a technique what artists use to actually get you to, for example, that eye. Let's say I do a fairly loose drawing round there. If I want you to look at the eye, I'll tighten up round there and make it very, very detailed. So I make you, the viewer, go, oh yeah, look at that.
Their attention gets drawn to that.
Yeah. And that's one way of guiding a person through a painting, by having certain areas of your painting tight and detailed, and other areas less detailed and more loose. And people can like scan over those bits. They're just bit parts in the painting. And that's a good technique to learn to use. Look, when you're creating and developing a design for a piece of artwork, look for areas where you can define detail and other areas where it's not so important. And you'll find it's a much more interesting painting if you do it like that.
Yeah, right. You have a fan here, Christopher Bako. He came back and he said, wow, this guy, wow.
Because I did it like that, I think, me personally, I think I've not done the snout long enough, which is something I sometimes do. That could do with being a bit longer and a bit stronger there. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. Don't be scared. That's another thing with drawing and painting. Don't be scared to rub it out if it's wrong.
Oh, don't be afraid to what? Erase, I mean?
Don't be scared to erase if it's wrong. There's not worse than working on something that you know is not right. Because you continue to make the thing that you're doing more and more wrong. So that needs to be a bit more like that. It's not that the snout needs to be longer, it's that needs to be wider.
Christopher said, well, you probably haven't gotten to this part, but Christopher says horses have long eyelashes.
Well, on this particular horse, you can't really see the eyelash. It does look as round there. You can see something that resembles eyelashes, but you can't really see the eyelashes as such. There's something that's like that, but that's as much as you can see. It's not a very detailed image on the horse that I'm painting. I just downloaded it off the internet just before we came up because I needed an image to do, so that suited the purpose.
Right.
But this dark area around it represents the eyelashes area. So rather than actually doing each individual eyelash, I'm just
Right.
representing it by a series of loose lines. But if I really wanted to put more detail in that area, then I'd probably do that. That's something that I'd add. I'd actually like do it really dark around there, and get a good eraser and rub bits out, and it'll look like it's got eyelashes. But I mean, this is just like a, I don't know, call it a practice piece really, because it's not something I'm doing for any commercial reason. So I'm not.
Yeah, because it's in your sketchbook art journal, right?
Well, this is just a general drawing pad that I have. So, and I generally use that for working out ideas.
Do you ever do 3D art?
What do you mean 3D art?
3D, you know, like pottery or
I've never had.
sculpture.
I did at college. I did a bit of sculpture, and I did a bit of silver work. Made some silver jewelry.
And jewelry, right?
Yeah, but I've never. The reason why I didn't do 3D art is because I knew that as soon as I get home, I've not got the tools and equipment and the things that you need to be able to duplicate that at home. It's all right doing it at college, but if you only ever do it at college, that's it. You very quickly forget and lose that skill if you're not doing it on a regular basis. So I decided that I wouldn't do any 3D art, because apart from, I mean, I do odd bit of carving, wood carving and things like that, but anything that needs any like pottery or anything like that, specific tools and large areas to work in,
yeah, right.
it's just not feasible. So I mean,
Right.
literally,
Carving?
the art at this moment in time that I can do is the art that I can fit onto this piece of paper now. My art working area is a very small desk.
Right. That's why I cannot do 3-dimensional art. I mean, I could do jewelry, but and I have jewelry stuff to do, but I mean, I have jewelry materials, but that does not take up a lot of space. But I want to stay focused, like more on one kind of art, and I don't want to. Right now, I don't want to spread myself too thin doing different kinds of art.
You branch out as you can, when you can. So,
but I would have no room. I have no room for pottery. Plus, you need a kiln. And my friend does pottery, and she has a whole house to herself. Like, she owns her whole house is like a 4-bedroom house, and she's single, and she has the whole house to herself. And she has a separate studio over at a friend's house that where she has her big kiln, and you have to have all that space. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, especially with pottery, it takes up a ton load of space.
Right, and then when you're finished pieces take up space.
A very messy. Not that I don't like it. I do. I love it. It's great, but it's not something that's on my radar at the moment.
If I had really wanted to do it, I probably would have made it happen. But it's not something that I really wanted to do. I took a course in it, but and then I took 2 classes. I took a college course and I took a art center class, but it's not something that I wanted to continue doing. I just didn't. Oh, Christopher says he would give a finger to be able to draw like you.
But my advice to you, Christopher, is I'll just get this piece of paper here, right? And the way I learn is by doing basic things. A circle,
The sphere.
a sphere,
Cube. That's what I teach. That was teaching my elementary school kids that.
keep practicing that until you get good at it. And you've got a basic horse, and you've got to do it hundreds of times till you get to the stage where you
Oh,
can.
you're showing the horse. I thought you were just doing. Now I looked up closer and saw what you're doing.
Can you see it? Well, it's basically how you draw an horse.
You broke it up into the basic shapes.
Basic shapes, right? Draw basic shapes and keep drawing it until you get it right. Once you're capable of doing that, you can draw any horse. It's just a matter of detail.
Hi, Rattletrap Fishing. Welcome.
You know, I mean, art can't be that hard because I'm doing it. Dear me. Honestly, you guys can do it. You just need to put that time in and have a go. And don't worry about it if you get it wrong. Just keep going at it and going at it and going at it. Work out the formula and keep going at it. That's how I've done it. My first drawing of an horse isn't like this.
That's right. First drawing wasn't like that.
So, you know, and I've been drawing things like this for over 40 years. And there's still stuff I've got to work on. So,
Is your wife at work right now?
no, she's
Oh, she's at a different place because you're at your dad's house, right?
She's sleeping at the moment because she's.
Because you're a night owl, right?
I am, yeah. I do tend to stay up fairly late. It's when I've got the most time free. So why not use it? And I hate trying to get myself to sleep. It makes me stay up even more.
Oh, yeah, right. I don't like to get to sleep until I'm totally sleepy and know I'll fall asleep within minutes.
Exactly with me. If I'll only go to sleep when I'm ready to go to sleep, and that's it. And if you try battling it, it just don't work, and it makes you even more stressed. So I'm just getting some tones in at the moment. And I know some people say don't use your fingers, but I can't find my thing. I've got a thing that I normally use, so a stick. It is preferred to actually.
The maul stick?
No, a special stick that you use to. I'm doing that with my finger. That is not professionally advised. It's not a professional. I wouldn't do it if I were doing it as a working piece, but I can't find my thing that I use. I don't know where it is. So it's like a stick that you use to a blending stick.
Oh, it's called a tortillon.
Sometimes they're called tortillo.
Yeah.
There's different ones. The tortillon, or whatever you call it, is wrapped paper.
Yeah, that one, right.
Right, and there's other ones that are not wrapped paper. The fibers of cotton that are tightly packed together that are different, and they are not called tortillons. But yeah, they both basically do say they're doing what my finger's doing here, and some artists would wag the finger at me and go, "You shouldn't do that, Ian." But who cares?
If it's in your art journal sketchbook, who cares?
I'm just playing. This is all this is for is art therapy.
That's what you consider art therapy?
Yeah.
Oh God, when I was in art school, they would say, "Oh, art." They look down upon that. If we did art therapy readings, they look down upon that.
They used to, yeah, because they used to think that art was for the sake of art and culture. And nowadays, people have realised that everyday people who are not necessarily artists can get a lot of meaning in life out of doing art, and that's great. Fair enough, they're never going to be like the next Rembrandt, but if it brings them joy in their lives, great. Especially those who've had it hard with other things in life to deal with. If it helps stabilise their lives, then that's a massive bonus. And anybody who puts the nose up against creative art therapy are morons. They really don't understand the power of art.
All right, I'd like to stay on longer, but I should go now.
Well, I'm pretty well. There you go. I mean, it's as done as I'm going to do.
You're going to work on that more, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's
nice.
I'd say it's about 2/3 done.
Yeah, 2/3 done. So nice to have you, Ian. And then anytime, I'll probably let you know. I mean, I'll let you know when I'm on. Like, well, I'll see if I can invite you again. I'll let you know.
Do what you did, and just let me know through.
Who's this? Oh, Bobby. Let's see. Hi, Bobby.
Is Bobby coming on for a bit?
Like Nick here in Old Nick.
Jeez, I wonder if that's somebody who's not really him. Somebody that impersonated him.
Somebody impersonating Bobby?
Crazy, yeah. I'm thinking that's what it was, because it may have been him, it may not, but usually he would not come and blasting music like that. Let me see what my moderators say. They know him very well. Not Bobby. My moderator just told me that. It's not Bobby. So I'm going to go now, because there's starting to be trolls coming in.
Right.
So thank you so much, Ian. So nice to see you.
Okay,
I enjoyed it very much.
Thanks for having us on, and I hope I've not offended anybody by my ranting tonight.
No, I love it. I love it.
Don't take anything that I say seriously, because sometimes.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you, my moderator. Love and hugs to everybody.
I can't do that. I'm art dyslexic. I can't do it.
You're not.
There you go.
Love and hugs to everybody.